Hi, it's me, Jesse Keeter. Active
Am I live?
Jabbers with you.
Am I live?
Yeah.
What's up, my Jabbers?
Happy Wednesday, my favorite Wednesday of the week. What's up? Welcome back to Void Jumpers, your certified favorite space opera, actual play, tabletop RPG, coming to you live from Twitch or wherever Twitch channels are streamed. Today we'll be playing Monster of the Week by Michael Sands. It's a pretty great game. It's based on Powered by the Apocalypse mechanics. We use it and abuse it, and we created a bunch of our own shit. Go play this, please. Okay, let's bring in the group. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Wednesday night with Jesse.
What up?
Jesse and friends. Yeah.
Jesse and some really close acquaintances.
Who just got downgraded and who got upgraded?
Hello, welcome everybody. Welcome back to Void Jumpers. I'm happy to see all your shining faces. Hopefully you're happy and healthy and safe where you are. We're not going to have too much bullshit today, I think. But before we get into my bullshit, Trin, why don't you talk to us about some real stuff?
So, real stuff. We should have mentioned this last week, but maybe you got the idea. All this next arc, this next season, we are going to be talking about voting and organizations that you can either contribute your time or your money or your energy to make sure that we all turn out on November 3rd and let our voices be heard. So last week we talked about powerthepolls.org, and I will re-up that and say, if you have not checked that out yourself or have not spread the word about that, please do. That is a push to get younger people working at the polls this year, since a lot of our poll worker positions are often filled by those who are retired or a bit older, and many of them are feeling uncertain about their participation this year. And one of the ways that voter suppression operates is that there aren't enough polling places in any given location to adequately serve the communities that need them. And that most generally affects people who live in cities and often minority communities within those cities. So, super important this year that we have as many poll workers as possible. So that's poll worker, powerthepolls.org. But then on top of that, I also want you to personally, individually check that your voter registrations are up to date, 100% up to date. So one way you can do that is by going to vote.org and plugging your information in, and then that will tell you where you are registered and what your current registration status is. So if you need to update your address, for example, because you can get turned away sometimes at the polls if you are not at your correct polling location based on your address. So please, please take the time to make sure that all of your information is up to date so that when November 3rd comes, you can vote or get signed up for an absentee ballot if that's possible in your area, so that you don't have to go into the polls and wait at the long lines. But with that, I will say, please, please, everybody vote this year. And if you, I know some of our fans are not Americans, but maybe you have friends who are, or you know family who are, like, please spread the word to get everybody to vote this year and to do everything possible to make sure that their vote counts.
Thank you, Trin. That's important stuff. She's doing all the hard work, getting you all the shortcuts to the information you need. Don't waste it. Very important this year. I think we can all feel that this is a heavy year where decisions are going to be made. So let's just embrace our opportunity to have an effect on what happens next. Thank you, Trin. Seriously. Okay, that was the important, cool stuff. There is a little bit of bullshit, as promised. It's Void Jumpers related. And I'm going to change the magic rules, which is only going to affect half of the party. This was a thought and query brought forth by a summoner who seems to be very in tune with magic. But the way that we're going to be doing these mechanics is we're going to start thinking of it as kind of an abstract resource that you will be managing, your ability to use your body to channel a very powerful energy. And so we're going to consider this the prototype mechanics that we're going to start playing with, because if it doesn't work, we're just going to chuck it and come up with something new. Lisa had a lot of really cool ideas, and I just plucked the one that interested me most. But as you continue to cast magic repeatedly during a single encounter, it will become a little bit more difficult each time. Which, in the beginning, for powerful magic users won't really matter, but towards the end of an encounter, maybe some silly stuff will start happening. It's not designed to limit your ability to use magic, but more to open you up to the possibility of the chaos that can ensue when power gets out of hand.
I think, Jesse, just to give a little background, what we saw was, in the case of Tag last week, he was just so powerful. I was succeeding overwhelmingly on all my rolls. So Jesse just wanted to keep the game balanced, so we came up with a mechanic where it would be a little harder to get those successes over time.
Yes, and also if you go to the store, you can now see that you guys can purchase a +1 to a roll for any of these characters, including Jesse and his villains. So
Oh,
Wait,
sweet.
what? How does that work?
What?
they
Wait a
can...
minute. What?
Yep.
I got some monstrous people in mind that could use the help.
Yep. So you guys
speaking-
can mess with the game. Fun.
Speaking of really powerful characters, does anybody need to level up because they failed so many rolls in one session that they might have done that?
I do. But if I may, I'm going to see how tonight goes, because I think that with this, I just learned about this new magic thing. So currently every single one of my rolls is a weird roll. So if rolling weird is going to incur a -1 penalty, this might be a good opportunity for me to look at other things to start letting Tag do. So I'm going to see how tonight plays out, and I'll just put that XP into a little holding pocket for the time being.
Sure, sounds good. 10% interest in my favor. All right, that's it for the cool announcements, the bullshit announcements, and we're going to just jump back in. Previously on Void Jumpers. Last week, our heroes prepared for their mission to the water planet. After crash landing in the infinite ocean, they undertook a perilous journey to reach Last Shore, a floating company research facility. Our heroes were separated after a scuffle with too many sharks and a mysterious tentacle monster. Oh yeah, and Shavana, who they were to escort to this facility, nearly escaped during the chaos. Luckily, Sam and Rex were able to chase her down, leaving Tag and Bryn alone in the water to fend for themselves. The episode ended with the appearance of Air Dobbins, a company scientist who shares a dark history with Sam/Huck. We're going to start with a flashback. We're going to be visiting Puck. He's in a holding cell. There is magical barriers in place. Most of the walls are white. And on the other side of these barriers, you see Air Dobbins. This mad-looking scientist holding a clipboard and taking copious notes as you recover from a procedure which just sapped most of your magical life force. He steps towards the barrier, looks over what he's written, and says, "So, tell me, how do you feel?"
I feel light.
You mean your mood or your mass?
My consciousness feels light.
Interesting. There are theories that the magic which powers your physical appearance and grants you these very powerful abilities might also be tied directly to your consciousness, so I'm not surprised to hear such a thing might be the case.
Well, I think you should let me out now.
I cannot do that. I have many tests I must run on you first. We have a lot to learn, and I think that you might be the most interesting test subject I've yet to experiment on. Might I ask you a question?
Sure.
The scientist turns and gestures to a door which slides open, and a bumbling 20s-ish research assistant enters in, pushing a cart. On the cart, there are several canisters. You can see that there are small, though the canisters are metal, there are small viewing slots in each in which a purple energy that reminds you of yourself glows. And the scientist says, so, we have here some of the energy which we removed from your person. Can you feel it in any sense? Do you have any contact with it, even though it is operating outside of your being?
You'll have to forgive my impertinence, but why would I help you?
Well, you don't have much of a choice, but I understand the question because you could refuse. We will make it very difficult for you to continue to do so, as we have means to damage even a magical being's form. We could sap more energy from you and in turn use that energy to power machines which could harm you, both physically and mentally. You cannot escape, but threats are so boring. Aren't you just curious as to what it means to be you? I could unlock so much by looking into the magical essence which powers your life. Magic which creates a consciousness. Your thoughts represent the very fibers that pulled this veil together. Don't you know how it all works?
You know, strangely enough, Dobbins, I actually find your enthusiasm quite contagious and a bit more enticing than the threats, which left me rather comme ci comme ça.
Yes.
So I suppose, can I feel the energy? I don't know. Can I?
Roll plus weird.
Do. 8.
You can feel it. It's similar to what I can only imagine the sensation of having a phantom limb might be. There is this strange disconnect, but you're aware of something. It feels contained like the inside of a grenade. And it is separated into 3 different points that you have this anchor to in your brain. And you can see that there are 3 canisters on this cart.
Okay. Yes, I can feel the I'm trying to think of the human word for it. Oh, it's hubris. That's the word of a person who has finite existence, thinking that they can offer some sort of insight into the being of an immortal who's been around for thousands of years longer than him and will be around for thousands of years after he's gone. It tickles me, which is a delight, a pure delight.
Yes.
That's what I should be feeling.
I had no response in mind, but I am pleased that you're taking the question and running with it.
Yes.
I frequently come up against this exact same diatribe. These creatures who consider themselves to be immortal laugh at the idea of harm and threats. It's why I skip that with you, but when faced with the possibility of being extinguished, which is the word I prefer to use because to die would mean that you have lived. But if you cannot die, then simply put, you are not living now. You are just existing, right? You are the manifestation in the form of a conscious being of something that is so powerful we cannot understand it. Magic. You are a mouthpiece for magic. In this case, void magic. So, when I talk to similar species like Zetine, you're familiar with them, yes?
Yes.
They too, they do not fear death because they have not experienced life, but tell me, if I am able to remove half of your energy, what would stop me from removing all of it?
That's a good question. I feel like it might be rhetorical.
Yes. You're very quick, my friend. I'm growing to like you more and more. I fear that the end of this experiment will leave me sad.
Oh, well, that's a definitely, a negative outlook.
here's what we're going to do. To put perspective on some of these responses which I expect from you, we're going to take this energy, which you still have a connection to, and we're going to remove it from this laboratory. We're then going to put it into a machine which will send different kinds of particles through it. It is my hypothesis that certain particles will cause you great pain, even though we are sending it through some energy which has been removed from you. I'm not entirely sure, but I am looking forward very much to trying it, yeah?
Yeah, that sounds exciting. I've never had phantom pain before. I'll add it to my list of new sensations.
And with that, we cut back to the viewing platform on Lost Shore, where we find a rather damp Sam and Rex sitting atop Shavana, who they've recently, I believe, tied up.
Uh-huh. And
Yes.
beat up.
And this same scientist, who was just featured in the flashback, is standing in the doorway, which is just slid open, and said, "Ah, how wonderful! You've just brought me my new research specimen."
I leap at Air Dobbins and begin to throttle them.
Okay. Roll, kick some ass. That's plus tough. This is just fisticuffs?
It's less trying to like hurt them as much as compress them against a wall so that I can yell in their face.
Okay.
No, sir, that's a 5. I think I
Okay.
might get +1, so that might be a 6, but that's...
Sure. So you leap off of Shavana and grab Air Dobbins around the throat, and the two of you collide with the wall of the facility. But Air Dobbins does not seem to mind so much as he grabs your wrists and simply removes your hands from his throat using a strength you would not guess his rather slender form to possess, and simply stops there. The two of you are very close to each other, and he smiles and says, "Have I said something wrong?" Rex, what do you do?
I say, Sam, what are you doing? Well, Shavana starts squirming, and I have to like leg lock her to get her to stop.
You're muted there, Tag.
This guy is a monster, and he needs to separate me and Puck is what he's gonna do. And I just, find it rude that he would grab me like this when clearly he's at fault.
The moment you say separate me from Puck, you see this smile that is just tearing his face falter, almost like a nervous twitch. And his eyes blink a couple times. And then he smiles again and he says, "Oh, it's you! How interesting. Where's the other one?"
What? Yeah. I don't know. He's here. All right. And I need you to take him out of here and put him wherever else it is that he needs to go. And then we'll be like this. Instead of like this, we want to be like this.
You're kind of like moving your hands. He's allowing you to gesture, but he's not letting go of your wrists. He, again, blinks. The smile falters and comes back and says, Right, of course, yes. He's not here. He's there. Interesting. Yes. Very interesting. I would very much like to ask you some questions.
All right. Get off me. I try to
He
break.
lets go.
Is he making
Backs
Sam
up.
hit himself? Like you do with your younger siblings, just being like, "Stop hitting yourself."
Rex, don't give him any ideas.
He backs up and he says, I apologize. I was only trying to defend myself from your rather ferocious attack." He says, I feel we've gotten off on the wrong foot. This person is in your custody, yes? He's pointing to Shavana.
Yes.
Oh, okay. We have places you might want to put her if you feel comfortable, and I would love to invite you inside. Please, get out of the sun. We have cold water. We have plenty of food. We'd love to have you. Welcome to Lost Shore. I'm sorry, I keep feeling like maybe I'm saying something wrong. Are you okay?
We've got 2 other friends down that are also here with us.
You've got 2 additional people as well.
Yeah, I go over to the edge of the thing and I call to Bryn and Tag.
When you look down, you can see faintly, kind of floating, 100 feet off of this, that ring of red foam and cloth that's floating around the structure. And your 2 shimmer skimmers are tied and not floating away. But you remember you are on the complete opposite side of the facility. And so when you look down, you do not see your friends. Okay. And Erdobbin says, it is no matter. We would love to have additional guests. Please, please join me. And he ushers you.
Just so we're clear, none of these other people are for any kind of experimentation. We are only bringing you Shavana.
Of course. Yes, of course.
Shavana is also not for your experiments.
Oh, my mistake. I just get excited about science is all. And he ushers you inside. We cut to Bryn and Tag, who are standing on a sheet of ice recently cast by the summoner and looking up at the facility. I believe Tag has just drank out of a water bottle.
I noticed that he's okay, and I'm like, give it to me, and I take a sip.
Okay, yeah, it's just water.
Cool. I'm thirsty.
What?
I'm injured. I'm thirsty. You're fine. You didn't turn into a pumpkin. We're okay.
Tag,
Your window for turning into a pumpkin was so brief, as if you knew certainly, like, if you're going to turn into a pumpkin, it happens seconds, literally 3 seconds after sipping it. If that time is passed, it's safe.
Tag, you are going to make the first of a series of checks, which will present themselves when appropriate. You are going to roll plus tough.
8.
Cool. You feel a little queasy after drinking it, and that sensation turns rather quickly to kind of like an acid reflux.
Bryn, I don't feel too good.
You do not take any harm, but this sensation is kind of making you think about what you just did.
I said I don't feel too good.
Like seasickness?
It's a kind of seasickness that wasn't there while we were at seas at any point, but quickly came on seconds after drinking from that flask.
Do we have leftover Dramamine salad?
Oh, just the sound of that is not helping. Oh, I'm fine.
Do you need me to find a bucket? Are you okay?
I think it's probably etiquette says you could just barf into the ocean, right? I mean, we're going to carry around that bucket with us?
I mean, we can't make it any worse looking.
And pour it down a sink somewhere in this water facility?
I don't know. I always got sick in a bucket, like a pan. So.
But like a fancy bucket, like a silver bucket.
It was stainless steel, but yeah.
Yeah, I just worry that if I'm like carrying a chum bucket with me, the aroma might accelerate.
I think we have to take an elevator. I'm just trying not to get barfed on. So.
Oh, okay. You just say that. Just say I don't want to get barfed on. Don't be like presenting it as if you're trying to help me, nurse me to help.
I grab my bag and I take out my mom's summoner robes and because I pack them and I'm not wearing them, and I hand them my bag and I'm like, you can throw up in this.
Okay, I will try my best not to, but let me just make sure I understand. Given the option to throw up just in a corner somewhere in this giant, seemingly wrecked aquatic research facility and directly into your bag, you would prefer me to throw up directly into your bag.
If we're in the elevator, hell yes.
If you're in the elevator,
okay.
Okay, I understand.
All right.
All right, so you approach the elevators. What you can see is that they are 3, I believe. There are 3 tubes the size of elevators that are mounted onto the outside of this research facility. So what you are seeing is
Middle tube.
middle tube. All right, you approach the middle tube. They go deep underwater and continue up to the laboratory. You can see through them, and you can see that there are doors on the inside. But what you're looking at is just the exterior wall. So if you'd like to go through the elevator tube, you're going to have to do something to get inside. It is a very thick, safety-proof glass.
Oh, you just mean something like you're putting it to us, not like you're about to tell us what that something is.
Yes.
Okay.
You have to break through a glass tube to take an elevator?
You just can't. There's no doors. There's no exterior doors to this elevator. This would be an elevator used to get from the inside of the facility down underwater.
Well, fuck it. I got my non-copyrighted, totally generic sword of illumination.
All right, cool. Yeah, how do you want to do it?
I'm going to just score a little circle in the tube. Well above water. I'm not trying to flood this facility.
Because water levels stay the same, and once you get in the tube, you'll easily be able to get into whatever the transport part of the elevator is, as opposed to, I don't know, looking for a door or regular entry port.
I hope water level. I mean, I assume that this thing is not structurally built from the bottom of the ocean. I assume that it's floating, in which case I would imagine that the water level is fairly consistent. I do.
And so, have you ever seen waves splash up onto the deck of a ship?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so even though the ship is designed to float, additional water will go up and over the ship. The
I think
rocking.
this is a fascinating conversation that Connor and Casey are having.
Okay, yes.
It has some meaningful relevance.
Sorry.
No,
You've got a
I'm
whole-
not dismissing it. I am actually saying, you are right. Obviously, you are correct.
I
We
never meant to question the man who would put his head underwater where their sharks are, in like a field of chum, and or drink random canteens filled with all sorts of strange alien matter. So it follows. It all scans.
I have a -1 to 1 stat, and that is sharp. All of my others are in plus.
This is just good. This is you being in character and playing well. I apologize.
No. Okay, sir. We need to reunite the party, if only to allow Rex and Sam/Puck to help out Bryn, who has the job of running around with his toddler sometimes by herself.
Seriously, and you do it way better when Puck can take your pants away.
True that.
Yeah, sorry.
All right, doesn't take a roll. You cut through the side of this stuff above water. As you are peering inside, you see in the tube next to the middle tube, the left tube, an elevator descend down below the waterline. It takes up the entirety of the tube, and then it passes out of your view and down into the water. How would you like to get up this tube?
Levitate?
Cool.
You can do that?
I don't know.
Okay, cool.
We're just going to see how reliable your magic is. So let's use magic. You're going to roll plus weird. This will be the first roll you will start to tally in a sequence of events.
God, really
You're strong.
regretting it.
You're very powerful, Lisa.
Right, I am, and it was not good. 11.
That's really good.
No, that's good. I meant being too powerful is not good.
Okay. Yeah, okay, so how... Alright, yeah, so the way that I see this is, I don't think you can just fly, but I think that with this water that is starting to slosh out into the tube and fall so far down, you are able to actually tap into that and bring it into the tube a little bit faster and use it to actually raise yourselves up. It will require you both to climb into the tube and float in the water as the summoner raises the water level in the tube.
How's my leg doing?
You tell me.
It's not doing so good, so... I'm gonna need help from Tag climbing in there.
Yeah, do you want to take, before we start crawling into levitating waters, do you want to heal up a little?
Well, if I leave, I have to use a spell, which will be it. Start.
Fine, I'll do it. You know,
You do it.
we were in a rough place before, but I'm ready to help you out now. I feel much more confident in my medical talents.
You
Let me
just
take
using a
another look
med-
at that leg.
Okay. I unwrap the gauze. It looks pretty gnarly.
I say that looks pretty gnarly in a way that happened well before me. That is just. So what am I doing here? I roll something?
I think that you guys would have a med pack each. You used one to bungle this the first time. You will have yours. Because you bungled it the first time, you have a little bit of information on what this wound looks like. I'm going to give you a +1. It will be a sharp roll. If you succeed, full success, she gets healed 2 and stabilized. Partial success, she gets 1 or the other. And failure will result in you injuring it further.
So using med packs always requires a sharp roll.
Yes.
Okay. Well, Bryn, let's just. What feels good to you? You know, I don't. I remember what happened last time, and I feel like I'm probably not going to do that again. But I feel a lot of things, and don't want you to feel the pain of an injury exacerbated by my bad luck.
Well, I'll just put it this way. If you do not succeed, I will become unstable.
Right.
And you will have to carry me. And I can't levitate us. So.
Oh, right. That sounds bad. So I'm just kind of asking you, like, you want to try walking on this thing? You want me to just give it the old college try? The old college try, having not gone to college, is pretty reliable.
I can't. You just try it. I believe in you. I
believe in me too.
I think as you're having this conversation, you're kind of like pulling things out of the med pack and like unrolling gauze and looking at it. I gave you a +1 on this.
Apropos of nothing, how does luck work in this game?
You can burn a luck point and get a full success.
Where do my luck points come from?
You have 7 to start. You never get them back. And when you run out of them, you become what is called doomed in game mechanics, which means I can just make hard moves against you whenever I want. It sounds crazy, but you've never used a luck in 3 missions, so 7 might be a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They can turn any roll to a 12 or reduce or have you negate harm. So if you take like a death blow, you could be like, you're going to use luck so I don't die.
Obviously I have failed this roll, and I just feel like I got to use luck because my sense of shame and guilt at having done this to the, kindest summoner that there is. Yeah.
How's it going, Tag?
Oh, it's great. It's going really good. And I'm just like, I've like severed an artery and there's just blood spurting out everywhere. She's averting her eyes. So I'm just trying to like, it's really good. It's really good. It's really good.
I feel really woozy.
You burn the luck point, and the way that I see it is this.
Do I need to go to the store? How does this work?
For what?
To use the luck to succeed this roll.
No, it just happens. It's instantaneous. You can use
So
it.
I have luck, but independent of that, luck can be manipulated now by the store.
Yes.
Okay, so
that's what you mean. That store.
Right.
Got it. Okay, yeah.
Okay, I will use a luck to try to rescue the situation.
So you see that you're just about to get started on this. You've got all the materials set out. The ice is kind of melting, so the bandages are getting soggy. And you're about to start using some of these syringes that are in there, and you realize at the last second, as your luck point disintegrates above your head, that you are actually about to inject her with something that would prevent her blood from clotting. And you drop it in the ocean, and then you just bandage her leg and sterilize it.
It's good.
And
yeah, we didn't need the other. I wanted to make some cuts to our medical supplies. Some unnecessary weight was in there. I just wanted us to be able to move a little lighter. So I ditched some supplies.
Bryn, you are healed 2 and stabilized if you were unstable.
I'm okay now.
Okay.
Yes.
So the two of you have now seen that much more water has slopped into this tube, and you focus your energies, Bryn, making more and more water pour into this. You kind of suspend it in the tube and then use it as a floating device to start raising up towards one of the doors that you witnessed above. We cut back to Puck and Rex. And this...
Hashtag tag, are you sure you're not evil? You seem to be doing a really great job killing the summoner.
Okay, Merc, look. Touche, first of all. Second of all, thank you. Third of all, give me a fucking break, okay?
I think that's a point of luck to tag.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I
Oh,
think
cool.
so.
You're back up to 7.
Yep.
Oh, cool.
You get a +1 to a roll.
Great. Well, so I guess Merc just saved the summoner.
Thanks,
Very
Bert.
cool.
Merc, guardian.
Somebody needs to.
It is literally my one job, not the joke phrase. It is, as her parallel, my one freaking job.
We see Air Dobbins leading both Sam and Rex into the lobby off of the deck that you were just standing on. And Rex, I imagine you are still in possession of Shavana? Okay.
Definitely.
He says, so welcome to Lost Shore. This is our little home away from home. Where did you say your friends were? Perhaps we should invite them inside as well. We're going to be doing a dinner soon. Are you hungry?
I brought snacks.
Excellent. How about you? Guy within a guy? How are you doing?
That's funny. I'm surprised you didn't go into comedy.
Well, I tried, but I just couldn't stand the hecklers.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's understandable. Yeah, I really don't have much of an appetite right now, honestly. But thank you.
No problem. Rex, he approaches you and he says, you'll forgive me, but he pulls out a badge that's on a little zippy lanyard that's attached to his belt, and he holds it up and says, as you can see, and you recognize immediately, Rex, that this guy is high up in the science realm of the company. He would not have the executive privileges that you are now using, and also you've seen people like Miss Kale and Shavana use. He wouldn't have any of that stuff. But as far as researchers go, like, this guy would be far and above the professor. He's a senior research boss or something, you know, like he's up there. And he says, yes, so you understand, I will have to check your credentials. And he lets go of the card and it goes back to his belt and he goes, oh, I always forget that it does that.
And I think
And he looks to Sam
Rex
and says,
laughs at him. Not like I
"That's-
just laughed, but it's just like, ah.
yes, okay, but I do have to check your credentials before I can let you into the facility.
I'm sorry, you know whose authority I'm here on, don't you?
No?
What credentials are there needed to be checked?
You are a problem solver for the company, yes?
I am here under Miss Kale's direct authorization to bring you this woman.
His eyes flutter again and says, Miss Kale. I do not recognize the name.
Who are you?
Yeah.
I'm Air Dobbins. I am in charge of this research facility. I run the show here. We are doing many wonderful things for the company, many of which I have zero authorization to discuss with you, openly,
Oh.
unless, of course, you produce credentials which would give you the proper clearance.
Rex, I can sum up. In general, Air Dobbins mostly just tortures and experiments on innocent people.
Well, hold on a second. Phrasing, first of all. Secondly, we do not torture people.
All right, they torture life forms, or they do experiments that are akin to torture.
Now,
okay.
hold on a second.
Okay. All right, Air Dobbins.
Again.
Okay, Air Dobbins, I granted the purpose of torture is to extract information or to inflict pain. Your experiments are purposed to extract information, and as a byproduct of that, they just create an incredible amount of pain that the ethics of which you completely disregard. So you're right, technically torture.
This man does not know what he's talking about, and is incredibly biased against this facility because he happened to be committing a crime and was caught by the company, the owner of this facility, and detained.
And tortured.
Until we can ascertain to what you were looking into. As I've said, the experiments happening on this facility are extremely sensitive
and illegal.
And completely confidential. The legality of which is still in question because many of the laws that are being created cannot keep up with the technology, which we are the forerunners of at this facility.
Detaining creatures against their will to do experiments on them so that you can extract value, and then as a result of me trying to set one of those entities free, you just go buck wild scientifically on me. I can't imagine why I'd be biased. I can't even begin to fathom why I would think that you are not a good person. And I mean that on multiple levels, both as your personality, in terms of your sense of humor, in terms of your ethics. In fact, I hope you bite your tongue the next time you eat something that you really enjoy.
And I turned to Puck. I turned to Sam really quick, and I'm like, "Wait, are you saying you tried to help Puck?"
Okay, I didn't know he was Puck at the time, but look, you don't have to be a humanitarian to know when stuff is not hunky dory. This guy right here, show him your credentials so we can get this show on the road. You can take Puck out of me, Shavanov. I can't let Shavanov become his next guinea pig. Sorry to burst your bubble there.
I don't want to derail us completely, but I do want to investigate whether or not this person is lying to us, because it seems odd that he does not recognize the name of Miss Kale.
Sure.
Given how important he is.
During your tete-a-tete with Sam, he's actually crossed to one of the panels next to the doors and has typed in a few buttons. And as you turn to investigate whether or not he's lying, he hits the final command. And there is a second set of security barriers that lower over all of the doors, sealing all of the exits into the lobby. And all of the lighting switches over to a red tint. And he says, "This looks incredibly dramatic, I understand. It is a simple precaution. I simply cannot let you into the facility until I've checked your credentials. That being said, if you'd like to leave, I will not stop you." Allow me to explain myself. The last time I saw this person, and he points to Sam, he says, he was in custody of the security of this facility. I do not know what he was doing. I received a communication that he was looking into things he should not be looking into, and he is also a presumed spy. So, I was asked to find some things out. I did not torture anyone, including this man. Secondly, the last time I saw this woman, she was coming to this facility, and he's pointing to Shavana, to escort this man into the custody of someone else who was going to have a chance to look into some of the things which happened to him in our lab while he was in our custody. So, you and you alone are the only reason I have not tried to detain this man again. I obviously do not understand what is going on, because this person who was in control before is now under arrest, and this person who was under arrest is now in some kind of control, and you keep deferring to him even though I know for a fact he is untrustworthy. Anyways, you're a problem solver, so I need to see your credentials.
Whoa. Okay, I understand. You got to get to Rex's credentials, but your defamation here is not only uncalled for, especially as a person who fully, though sideways, just admitted that what happened to me was directly under your supervision and your, I'm just trying not to lose my mind right now, honestly.
So says the spy.
Look, I didn't say that I wasn't here doing something. I'm just saying what you did do here. That we do know, all right? And whatever you did to me, that is not the proper response to whatever I was doing. Under no circumstance is what you did okay.
Rex,
I'm still glaring. Yeah.
You want to read this person?
I'm still glaring at Air Dobbins.
I don't think that there's a role necessary. Just read a bad situation. Roll plus sharp. And ask me your questions, depending on how many you can ask. And they can be as broad as you'd like them to be, and I will fill in the blanks from what I think you would be able to glean from the situation.
That's a 13, my friend.
You get 3 questions.
All right. Who are you?
This appears to be the person that he says he is. The credentials that he's shown you, the card is something you're familiar with. It looks legit. He hands it back to you so that you might scrutinize it. It is legit. All of the seals that would need to be on it are there. It says Air Dobbins. It has his position listed, and the picture matches up. So as far as you can tell, this is Air Dobbins.
All right. Are there any dangers we haven't noticed yet?
You don't know what's happening when his eyes flutter at the mention of certain names. It seems to be triggering whenever he needs to think of something or someone to recall a memory. You don't know what's happening, but it seems like that could be weird.
All right. Hey, Sam, you got any questions?
Yeah, how soon can he separate me and Puck?
Well, I suppose we could do it later this afternoon.
Great. It's a deal. It's a date.
Excellent.
So I'm still glaring, but I slowly pull out my credentials and hand them over.
Okay. I will give you one for free. The fact that he doesn't know Miss Kale doesn't necessarily indicate anything. You know that communication to this facility has been shut off, so Kale wouldn't have been able to call forward. Also,
Right.
The company is very large, so it's not necessarily a smoking gun. But I think that the fact that it does trigger some kind of suspicion is entirely justified, because she is pretty high up.
Also, I'm just very suspicious in general.
Right. He takes your credentials, which are now executive credentials, not problem solver. And the moment he sees them, he looks at you in a very different light and hands you them back immediately, does not look at them closely, and returns to the wall panel, pushes the button, and the doors go up and the alarm turns off. And he says, I apologize. I had the wrong impression. I thought maybe you were on a security mission. I had no idea you were an executive. Please, Rex, forgive me. This facility is at your command. Anything you'd like to know, we will provide it for you.
There's a muscle that twitches in my jaw, and I just say, and I trust we won't be having any more of these problems now, will we?
None. And again, please, allow me to start over. I am here to provide any information you require on this facility or the operations that are happening. Anywhere you would like to go, you are welcome to. Your executive privileges supersede my own, and while I do run this facility, I will simply use that standing to be the best host I can possibly be.
Good.
On your authority, it seems the power dynamic has been set within your party. I will allow this spy to enter into our building with the credibility your name lends him, and I infer that this person here needs to be escorted to a holding cell. And he points to Shavana.
And I look at her, and I look back at him, and I say, yep.
Absolutely. He goes over to the same wall panel, pushes in a couple buttons, and picks up a little phone, talks into it quietly, and you have to wait for just a short amount of time before one of the doors opens up and a bumbling 20-something research assistant enters in and offers to escort Shavana. This person is holding a stun rod, which would just be like it would just be like a heavy-duty lock-you-up kind of stun device. It's not in a threatening manner, but this dude doesn't necessarily think he's going to
Inspire confidence.
Yeah, so he's like shaking with it and ready to escort Shavana. And if you're cool with it,
Listen, what? Tell you what, you show me the way, and I'll take her there. She's already almost escaped once.
he looks to Air Dobbins. Air Dobbins nods, and this person says, "Okay, thank you." Turns around and walks you to, I think, just down the hallway. You guys go into a lab. The thing that you notice about this place, did I write something about this? Everything looks to be in order. The outside, the muck in the water, all of those things gave you the impression that you'd be entering some kind of abandoned facility. And while there are no people moving through it besides these two, everything seems to be in order. There's no clutter, there's no damage, all of the lights are working, everything's fine. He leads you to a lab, which is at the end of a hallway, and then inside there are some holding cells, which you know are going to be metal and also capable of blocking magic. And you're welcome to leave her here, and we will simply take care of her as if she is our guest.
All right. Bye.
They put Shavana in the cell, they remove her bonds through the bars, and then turn on the magic wards. And we cut back to Bryn and Tag, who I believe are slowly floating up an elevator shaft in a pool of water.
Yeah, cool.
You do hear a noise above you, and you look up to see that an elevator has just been triggered from somewhere above you and is now moving down towards you.
Oh.
It takes up the entirety of the shaft and is moving at you at a decent clip. Tag, roll plus cool for your second check.
No.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
You have a +1 from chat.
The +1 from chat?
Yeah,
Well, earlier,
like-
are they getting luck points or pluses?
they're getting a +1 to their
Pluses.
roll.
Okay, so you don't get an extra luck back, but you just have a floating +1. You can apply to anything you'd like. As a DM freebie, I would not burn it until you know it can help you cross the cusp from failure.
Sure. Yeah, I'll use it. So that puts me to a 7.
Okay. You start to feel woozy.
Thank you again, Merc. I appreciate it.
You start to feel woozy, and the nervousness that you are feeling about seeing this elevator triggers another surge of this acid reflux. You think that it might slow you down a little bit, but you're not taking any harm. And the sensation is starting to move from the back of your throat towards the back of your neck. It's like a burning pressure that is now kind of moving beyond your throat towards the back of your neck.
Okay.
What would you like to do about the elevator that is approaching? There is a door between you and it. At the rate you are currently floating in this water, you will not reach the door before the elevator. Even if you do reach the door before the elevator, you will have to deal with the door being closed.
How fast
So-
is the elevator coming down?
I'd say you've got enough time for each of you to take a full action and one person to take another.
I mean, more like, is it one of those skyscraper elevators that is just
No. No, it's kind of if it is to go very deep underwater, you get the impression that it will need to pressurize, and so it is moving at a pace in which any systems inside would have time to acclimate the interior of it.
Okay.
So it is not rocketing, it is just sliding down steadily.
It's the
we-
Austin Powers steamroller just slowly rolling towards you, and you have no way of avoiding it.
Great
Exactly.
comedy. And we're floating on like a disc of water, right? The whole thing hasn't been filled with water.
I see it more as like 10 feet worth of a water that is moving up together, you know?
Okay. Hey, so Bryn, if you can slow our roll a little bit on this water, I think that should give me plenty of time to just cut a little hole in the bottom of this elevator for us to pop into.
Yeah,
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
I can stop it so we're just floating.
Yeah, and
Nice.
we may, depending on how fast it comes, we may need to lower ourselves a bit, but feels like it.
And
All right.
dodge the metal piece that will then fall on your heads.
You guys got water. If it
Yeah,
the
I
way
mean,
that I see it is yeah.
Yeah.
So it'll be 2 rolls. It'll just be to see if any shenanigans happen. But I love the plan. So Tag, you will be rolling Act Under Pressure. Bryn, you will be rolling Use Magic in order to manipulate the spell in a different way.
So this is both of our second spells, so we lose a +1.
Tag has not been using any magic. He's just using his non-trademarked glowing sword that he turns on and off with a switch in the hilt and makes a sound that we created as a unique item for this campaign. So he's not taking any negatives. You will be taking your first -1. So what is your weird stat?
+2.
Okay, so you're just dropping down to a +1.
Okay. 10.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you're able to do it.
God damn it! You want to trade? You
No,
can take my 10.
I don't. It is what it is. 3.
New dice. New
We need
dice.
new dice.
Not happening, man. Is what I got.
Okay, this is the way that I see it happening. So, Bryn, you're able to slow this. Tag, you prepare your saber thing, and you are floating in the water, and you watch it. So, as the elevator closes, you deftly stick it through the bottom and see the metal melt, and the saber goes straight through. Then your hand hits the elevator, and it starts to push you down with it, and you're starting to sink into the water. And Bryn is then forced to change directions with the water and slow this tube as you're being pushed and start to carve this hole into it. By the time you get this thing done, you're completely submerged in water, so the metal plate floats uselessly past you. But then the elevator pushes itself out of the water, and the two of you are now hanging by your hands in this hole that Tag has just created, which cooled because of the water, so there's no damage that you're taking. But the elevator is still going down. The water has been dispersed, and that you are now hanging out of the bottom of it. What would you like to do?
Climb in.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think that you guys can do it. You have to be careful so you don't knock each other off, but you are able to climb into the elevator. When you get inside, you see a woman in a white lab coat in the corner, staring at the hole you just made, kind of incredulous. She does not stoop to help you climb in. In fact, I think Bryn kind of does this wicked pull up and pushes herself in and then reaches down to lift Tag up and set him inside.
As I come up into view, I'm just waving at the lady in the corner.
And this person is just watching you. There is a cart in here with them that has some various scientific instruments on it, and they are looking at you.
Hey,
Hello.
hi. Sorry about the hole in your elevator. Well, I'll get it. I'll fix that in a little bit later. That's cool. Yeah, correct. That's cool. Sign for you. Do what do you? My name's Tag.
The surprise vanishes off her face, and a large smile spreads across her face, and she says, I wouldn't worry about that. We have many skilled technicians in this facility who will be able to fix the hole in this elevator. No problem. Who are you?
Who
She's
are
looking
you,
at
creepy lady?
Bryn specifically. She's actually not paying any attention to Tag. She's looking right at Bryn.
We just kind of answered an advertisement from the company. It said that they were looking for subjects for something. Not exactly sure.
As she looks at you and smiles very wide, Tag, you're going to roll your third check. It is going to be plus weird.
I'm trying to hide the summoner robes behind me so she can't see them.
Okay, she doesn't.
Okay, that one's a 9.
Okay, cool. So, nothing changes about the sensation that you are still feeling. It is just slowly creeping through the back of your throat towards your neck. You do not feel any change come over you mentally, but you cannot stop yourself from smiling very wide as she looks at you after you tell this joke. And the two of you are smiling at each other very creepily.
What?
Raz. And I start just pushing the elevator, stop it open, and be like, "Hey, I forgot to fill out some of those liability forms. Let me just step off. I gotta go get my stuff real quick. You want to come with me?"
Yeah.
She says, perfect. We'd love for you to have updated paperwork. Unfortunately, I will be unable to let you travel through this facility unescorted. Are there any company-provided credentials that you might be able to show me?
Yeah, they said that they'd give us $50 and a meal. So, I guess my question is there anything you'd like to show me?
I can have for you, I suppose. I imagine the company would have handled this for themselves. Roll manipulate someone, you jackass.
By the way, Raz was, I'm talking to the summoner here. I don't know who it is.
I know.
What is that roll? What am I adding?
Plus charm. It's one of the stats that never gets used.
Okay, great. 8.
Cool. What is the wording? They'll do it, but only if you do something for them right now to show that you mean it. Okay, yeah, sure. So she says, yeah, I suppose that I could have accounting cut a check from petty cash if you weren't paid in advance.
No, that's fine. I just need to this elevator is just, making me rethink. Physically you
Damn
go
it, Tag.
down. What's
Action!
happening?
Action!
Okay.
I think that's
Alright.
more. That's another +1 for Tag.
I just when it is.
From Rob.
It's
Thank you,
very,
Rob.
very sweet of you. At a certain point, I'm gonna just feel like the object of such pity amongst our chat.
Okay.
But thank you. That is sweet. I will use it so judiciously. No, I just need to. I was just thinking. Makes me think. Gosh, You go down in an elevator. You think, am I going down in terms of my life choices? Here I am at a aquatic research facility. This isn't where I expected to be. I thought I'd get my singer-songwriter career off the ground by now. Oh man,
you're so good. You're gonna do it.
Yeah, can we just get off this elevator for a second? Sorry,
Absolutely.
cart lady.
Yes, and she hits the next floor, and the elevator stops, and the doors open. She says, please watch the hole that you cut in the floor. I wouldn't want anyone to fall through. And she leads you out of the elevator. And you start going down a long hallway. Again,
ma'am.
the two of you...
Ma'am, sorry. I just need to have a word with my friend, please. I appreciate your hospitality. I know exactly where I am. They gave us blueprints to this entire facility in our input. Please just leave us.
I would be happy to step away so that you can have a private conversation, but since you have declared yourself as test subjects, there are some very strict guidelines you will need to follow now that you're inside this facility.
Of course. Of course.
I never said I was.
So she steps away, clearly out of earshot, and as she's walking away, she looks over her shoulder and gives you a huge smile tag, and again, you feel nothing inside, but your body does smile right back.
What is... Okay, are we going undercover? Are we in a band? Because that's
I'm
what
gonna
I'm
start.
thinking.
I'll start talking out loud, about our band, and then I'll activate our telepathic connection, and I'll be like, "Bryn, I am so sorry. I panicked there. I'm still talking in the voice of this other guy. I don't even know what's going on. Look, something's happening to my body. I can feel this thing traveling up. It's in. Do you see me smiling so big? Why am I still
That
talking?
was really creepy.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Something is really wrong with me, and it is freaking me the hell out.
Tag, as you start to try and confess these things to her, you're going to make your final check. It is going to be plus charm.
God.
Do I even want to succeed these, or do I? Is it like you know?
You've been getting partial successes, and
Oh, hey! Somebody gave me a +1, right?
They did.
Right.
I'm gonna use it. Thank you, chat. Thank you. That turns that from a 5 to a 6.
you feel that you will be able to tell Bryn anything about this feeling you're having. However, you will be unable to paint it in any kind of negative light.
Okay. Okay. Man, you ever just have one of those days where you have nothing to do and you can just sit on the couch and watch TV and just lounge, and then you have nothing to do the next day, so you can just keep lounging? There's nothing wrong with that feeling. You look at a whole, week, year, 2 years, 5 years of nothing. It feels great. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
Sounds boring. So you're...
And he smiles really big at you, Bryn.
I smack him to try to get it out of him. Sorry, but you're kind of losing it.
No, I know. Something is happening to me, and I just can't bring myself to say anything. Something is inside me, and I need you to
Get out?
stay, because it is great.
All right, I'm gonna read a bad situation.
Sure, roll it. Plus sharp.
That's a 9.
Okay, you can ask 2 questions.
Well, he's not gonna.
You can ask them to me, and I will fill in some of the blanks.
Okay. Is he under some kind of spell?
It doesn't look like a spell. It looks different, but the effects, seeing him start to suddenly change and talk about the things that are going on inside of him, the effects are similar, but it doesn't look like magic.
Can I? How do I access it? Like, what did it?
You cannot help but think of anything else other than the slippery black thing that you saw Tag drink outside.
Okay.
That would
so
be the
maybe-
only thing that might explain it. Or sticking his head into bloody water and looking at sharks with his eyes open in salt water, but maybe
Okay.
not.
I think we need to get you to vomit. I think you drank something that is upsetting your tum-tum, and we need to get it out.
Okay. Okay. What? You punch me really hard in the stomach.
Well, could I just say gross things?
All
Did you
right,
get
try it.
crazy? A 2-day-old greasy pork sandwich.
Ugh. Has it been refrigerated, or?
No, it's been sitting out in an ashtray.
Yeah. We're getting there. Keep it coming. The ashtray was choice. That was very helpful. Am I eating it? I'm eating it, aren't I?
You're eating it, and as you eat it, the grease is just falling down the side of your mouth. You can't keep it in. And as you breathe in, you inhale the ash.
Okay. Oh, we're right there. We're right there. Just one more.
And you notice that the pork might have some maggots in it.
Oh.
You puke. It's obvious that you are trying to accomplish something with this, so I'm going to have you roll. I think it's actually just a plus weird. No, it's gonna be plus tough. It's gonna be plus tough. It's a body thing.
Okay.
Come on.
Mixed success.
Okay. Yeah. So you puke all over the floor. Bryn, you get a little uncomfortable and turn your back on this to see that the person is still standing out of earshot, just going like this. Tag throws up again, and this time, in the goo that is on the ground, you can clearly see what look like maggots, except they're black.
Oh. This is genuinely making me disgusted.
And we cut back to and Rex.
By all the light in the continuum, hashtag tag heck.
Another point for Tag.
Ah! I really do, actually. I genuinely appreciate it. I'm not above this, okay? I'm not above it. I clearly need your help. Thank you very much.
You're going to need those probably coming up soon. All right, so Sam, Rex. Air Dobbins has led you into his office. So it's cluttered. There's a lot of papers just kind of sitting around. It looks a little different than the rest of the facility, which was squeaky clean. This doesn't look damaged in any way. It just looks like somebody who was very busy. There's a couple coffee cups that are sitting around. It's just like a decent sized office. You can tell that a facility like this doesn't have much room for luxury, but if this guy is the head of the facility, he's got a nice office. And he says, yes, so, again, I'm so sorry, Rex, but I am having the crew prepare a meal for you and your friends so that you can recuperate after your journey. I am here to offer whatever assistance I can. I think it would help me greatly if you were to tell me the purpose of your visit so that I could facilitate whatever objectives you have.
Well, I think you can start off and mend the fences by telling us a little bit about what's been going on here lately, because the outside of your facility looks like, I don't know, the runoff at a pig killing plant. And I don't know what to make of that. That's not very, I don't think the company would look well upon that.
Of course, no. It was a terrible tragedy. You see, we've been cut off from all communication for over 2 months now. We are a rather self-sufficient facility, so it has not been all that bad, and our work has been able to continue despite these hardships, but we have suffered losses. The sea life around this facility is... Fuck, I'm going French, I think. Connor, do a German guy's accent real fast for me to hear.
When I want to think of German, I think of the Winter Soldier from the Marvel films. I don't know why, but saying the Winter Soldier really...
The Winter Soldier.
To our German fans in the audience, I sincerely apologize. I don't mean for this to be reductive or diminutive at all. We're playing in caricature here.
Very, very broad caricature.
Yeah, we know.
We know. Yeah, so...
Feel free to make fun of us in your most southern of accents.
Oh, we got a lot of
listeners.
stuff to make fun of American people about.
We go pretty broad on all the accents. I don't feel like it's particularly frowned upon for me to be so silly in that way, given how silly we are in some. I remember Zip and Hank from last week were two. I hope we get to see those two again.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I've got my most serious dramatic character work.
yeah.
Yeah, so the sea life around this facility was, well, there was an event on that planet which happened nearby. We've been unable to pinpoint exactly what caused it. So the readings we've achieved from it does coincide with many of the readings we've gotten from the experiments we're conducting at this facility. That being said, we've been unable to pinpoint the reason for the event. It was, we believe, what is cutting our communication off from the rest of the system. We've been unable to communicate with anyone outside this planet's atmosphere for a long time. So that event seemed to enrage much of the sea life. There was I hesitate to use this word, believe me, a mutiny, and those who did not want to stay on the facility and continue the work were preparing to leave. We did not stop them, and we fear that they met their untimely end. In the waters outside this facility, I see the way you're looking at me, spy. I do not appreciate it.
You don't appreciate it. How I'm looking at you.
No, I don't.
You're feeling a little temperamental about the way that I'm looking at you after what you did to me.
We all have a job to do, man. You telling me that when you came here to look into our things, it was some kind of empowering, self-realizing journeys that you were on, or are you just cutting a paycheck from whoever paid you to look underneath our hood?
But I didn't do that to you.
I didn't do this to you either.
Whoa! You didn't do this to me.
I might have been involved in the situation which presented itself during an experiment, which was a theoretical exploration into heretofore undiscovered territory, but we're all occasionally taken aback by the work we're doing, wouldn't you agree?
I agree that people can be taken aback by the work they're doing, but that doesn't absolve your involvement in absolutely executing the experiment that resulted in what has happened to me. Are you insane?
Rex, I thought this guy was going to be cool. Is he not cool?
And I glare at Air Dobbins and I say, I don't like the way you're speaking to me right now.
I apologize.
Thank you.
So, yes, the human waste which you saw in the water outside this facility is the product of those employees who wanted to leave before we finished our very important work, and they didn't make it.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. That sounds like a very difficult situation.
It really was a pain in the ass. I'm just going to be honest. Yes, the entire situation was horrible.
Well, you may not know this, but you aren't the only planet that's been affected by these kinds of events. All the 6 planets, as far as we know in the continuum, have had these kinds of events, and we are here to set them straight. But first I'll need to know what kind of experiments exactly you are doing at this facility and where these creatures seem to be emanating from.
Of course, yes, of course.
And I'd like you to be a little bit nicer to our friend Sam here, considering everything that he has been through.
Absolutely, yes. I couldn't have said it
And
better.
when the time comes, I expect you to use all of your expertise to separate him from Puck.
I believe that procedure will be very simple. We have the material in the deep sea lab. We'll be able to schedule him an appointment with our, I suppose to just coin a term here now, separationist, it would be no problem.
Why does that seem so simple when you seem so astonished by it happening in the first place?
Well, it was the first time it happened that was so surprising. You understand?
I have a feeling you're about to tell me a bit more about the experiments that you've been doing here.
Of course. You were saying that you have a way to unlock the barrier that has been cutting us off from this communication.
We hope.
Excellent. Perhaps we'll be able to assist. The experiments that we are running at this facility are twofold. We have an entire laboratory dedicated to the experimental implementation of certain magical energies into technology. We have been working with volunteers from different planets who have been graciously lending the company their magical energy, and we've been trying to crystallize it using do you know what an Erix is?
I do.
Oh, yes. So that simplifies everything. Yes, I was hoping that you'd heard of it before. It's very new. We've been using this new technology to distill magical energy into these compact marbles, for lack of a better word, and then using that to help our soldiers in the field do any number of things. That is the line of research which this very
What exactly
handsome
happens to
fellow
these volunteers who are lending you their magic?
depends to what extent we remove it from them.
If you
I'm
want,
sorry, are these volunteers like Shavana?
No, I don't know what that person is doing back here, but I imagine she's not going to volunteer for anything. She knows quite a bit about this facility.
I'm sorry, Sam, I cut you off.
Oh, it's all right. I just thought I'd give you a little addendum, through my lens of bias based off of what I saw while I was here. And it, looks something along the lines of, oh, the experiment didn't work? Discard them. Oh, the experiment kind of worked? Retain them for as long as they survive.
What do you say to that?
Well, I feel it's an oversimplification of our agenda.
And what would you say that agenda is, besides extracting these magics for our soldiers to use?
To protect our people when they're on the field. Whether through offensive or defensive capabilities, we are able to use these magics to give them any number of tools, weapons, or armor which might make their lives easier and safer. The second line of research which we conduct at this facility is a bit more secretive, but due to your executive clearance, I will let you in on a little secret. We're actually looking into rifts in time and space.
You don't say.
Which is why I feel some of our research will actually coincide with your objective of removing this barrier, because we believe it came from a place which is not this planet. If it came from this planet, we would have known about it.
Astutely observed.
I'd be happy to give you a tour of the facilities if you'd like. I can answer any other questions you might have. But I am seeing here, and he points to his little telephone intercom device, a blinking green light, that our rations have been prepared. Shall we go and meet the rest of the team in the mess hall?
Yes, I won't be partaking due to an unfortunate incident in the last planet that I was on, but let's meet up with the rest of the team.
And maybe find the rest of our people.
What did you say? I didn't hear you.
And find the rest of our people who are
Right.
sick.
Yes, of course. I will send out word again. I have not heard back. And he leads you out of the office towards the mess hall. And we cut back to Bryn and Tag. You were looking at a pile of goo and a bunch of wriggling black maggots. There's not a shitload of them. There's just like 3 or 4 maybe. They look very juvenile, but they are definitely alive and moving.
Nice work. You got that out of your system. You feel better?
Teamwork makes the dream work, my friend.
Tag, you actually don't feel any different. The sensation is continuing back.
Oh, no.
Actually, no, I don't feel any different.
Do you think that's laid eggs? Like that's the babies of the thing inside you?
Wow, I had not thought of that, and I hate that I am now thinking of that. I'm gonna kind of try to x-ray myself and just like phase vision look at my body as much as I can.
Sure. You click over, it all seems normal. Okay. Everywhere you can see, you don't see any of these little things in you.
Can I bring? Not can I? I'm gonna bring Bryn into the phase with me, and
okay. You want me to look?
Yeah, and that's okay. Just take a peek.
Yeah.
All right.
Sure. You click over, and you can see very clearly in the back of Tag's head a black eel-like creature, about the size of a gardener snake, that is burrowing towards what might be his brainstem. The moment you click over into the phase state, you do hear the person at the end of the hallway say, "Okay, that's enough of that." And when you look, she is holding a void blaster and pointing it at you, Bryn. I'm going to need you to follow me now, my little research subjects, because I can't have you wandering around in the hallways.
Well, I don't need to. I just want to clean this up. I just threw up all over the ground here. That's embarrassing. That's not how I want to go and meet a bunch of scientists.
Roll plus charm.
13.
Okay. Yeah, she says, "You'll do exactly as I say," but nothing happens. She says it with this expectation as though you are, in fact, going to do exactly what she says. But nothing happens.
All right.
So about that new band name, yeah. I think we should call ourselves Snakes on a Brainstem.
And I start to, that's an interesting, and then I clock Bryn's giant eyes, and I go, "Oh yeah, it makes me really just start brainstorming ideas. I feel like we could use that hit single, Get It the Fuck Out, as for radio play."
She points the void blaster at the ceiling and shoots it. It doesn't sound very loud at all because these things don't have projectiles, but it does charge up and blast a bolt of energy into the ceiling, which sparks. She then says, "Here's what's going to happen. You start listening to me," and she's pointing the gun at you, Bryn. "He will soon enough, even if he isn't yet. You're going to follow me and get into one of these cells that I take you to right now."
I'm sorry, where is this going?
She starts to count down from 3.
She's got a void blaster pointed at us?
Yes.
Can I take a move?
Yes, you have time to do so.
Hair Dobbins' sperm and space German accent is on point.
Oh God.
What I no longer know what is a
Hashtag tag
so many icks.
I feel like the machine actually stumbled with that tongue twister. Genuinely, it had a hard time.
Okay, so that's an extra point for Tag. I think Air Dobbins is $5 away from getting an extra point to a roll.
Oh,
nice. All right.
Yep.
Okay. I can no longer see who that was. Thanks a lot to
that was Merc
both of you. That was
and
2 people.
Wags. Merc and Wags.
So here's what I'm going to translate that to. Since I don't actually roll any dice, I'm going to have a -1 that I can apply to any of your rolls when I'm awarded that gift. I think that's how we'll work it.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah,
You
so you
call
will,
it before or after?
I will call it after. In the
Okay.
same way that you will be able to retroactively use yours.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, she says 3 will stop into bullet time, and you will now have an opportunity to take whatever moves you would like.
So she fired a shot at the ceiling a second
She
ago.
fired a shot at the ceiling, then leveled the gun at Bryn and said, "Follow me or else." And then she said 3 and took in a breath to say 2 as we. Yeah.
So I noticed that there's just a little kind of hole in the plaster above her head where she fired the void blaster, and it's just ashing or crumbling a little bit of that plaster dust. I'd like to, for the first time in this game, use telekinesis to just pull down a chunk that has kind of been dislodged by that blast right onto her head.
All right. I think that requires a roll, right? This is the first time we've ever used it. What do we do?
Roll, yeah.
Okay. Okay, there it is.
That pause was
No.
me. Really, I'll just come clean. That pause was me, like, honestly debating about lying about it, because it's
You
just.
have a +1.
What's up?
You have a +1 from chat. Does it not
It,
help?
it doesn't matter. No, it doesn't matter.
Oh, before we get into this,
Wait.
Tag, I just want to clarify the new magic rules.
Yes.
These moves do not incur a stacking -1 penalty. They happen when you use magic as an abstract form of power, and also when Bryn casts spells. She has specific spells that she casts that are built into her character class as like training use magic and then having it as like a template. So she's just like getting a consistent use magic out of a spell. It's built into how she's a hex. So your like plus weird stuff for telekinesis won't stack in the same way. If you start to use magic, which you do on occasion, like when you're phase walking and shit, that will call it. But
Okay.
we're not gonna like dock all of your moves because everything. Yeah, I see what you're saying now. Everything's plus weird. That's different. Use magic is how it gets docked. So yeah. Anyways, you just failed to roll.
I may
And
not.
Merc is pointing out that Tag has 2 +1s at his
This is-
disposal.
So embarrassing, guy. Like, chat is paying actual money to bail my sorry ass out. It is just, I'm like caught between being deeply grateful for your concern and just utterly humiliated at my own ineptitude. But if that is the case, then if I use both of those +1s, and I like, why save them at this point?
Right.
I'm gonna burn them like they're going out of style. That will bring me to a mixed success.
Okay. So on a 7 to 9, you move it, but it hurts. The options are, you see your options, right? You get to choose one option and mark 2 harm.
That is
So
placeholder for us. We will keep going to not hold up the story, but you and I chatted and discarded the harm stuff and replaced it with something else. I just haven't gone and put that in there.
Okay.
So for now, we'll all take whatever the harm is.
Okay. Yeah, I don't remember what that is, so you'll need to refresh my memory.
Yep.
All right, so for now, you'll take 2 harm, and you get to choose an option. Those options, for those of you playing along at home, something is held fast, something is hurt, so you can hurt somebody, something catches fire, you can move something bigger than a person, or you suffer 1 less harm.
Yeah, I'm gonna just move something bigger than a person. I'm gonna just pull that part of the ceiling down on top of her.
Sure. She's going to take 1 harm.
Because messing with the structural stability of an underwater research facility has never been.
Seems fine. Seems like no problem.
I see Casey's just like.
She takes 1 harm, but more importantly, the ceiling crumbles on top of her and knocks her underneath the pile of rubble. The void blaster goes off, but hits a wall and bounces away behind you, sitting like pinging into the elevator doors. She's now underneath rubble. You can see that she is fighting to free herself. Bryn, it is your go.
I'm gonna grab her void blaster.
Cool. You run over. She had let it go in the fall, and you were able to pick it up. She has now climbed out of the rubble. It's taking her some time to get to her feet. She still has a big smile on her face. She doesn't seem to care much, and she's covered in dirt. And she says, well, shit.
Well, this wasn't the nicest welcoming we've ever received.
Yeah, y'all
This to your
invited us.
superior. I want to file a complaint.
I would be happy to allow that. Would you like to accompany me to the administration offices so that I can get you the correct forms?
Absolutely. And I'm going to aim the blaster at her and be like, don't try any funny business.
I wouldn't dream of it. She puts her hands into the air, turns around, and climbs over the rubble, and then starts marching down the hallway, expecting you to follow.
And I look at Tag and I wink. I'm like, this is so fun. And then I turn back around.
Yeah. So what's our plan? And I'll telepathically, what's our plan?
Well, I'm thinking we're just going to get like the fast track to the boss. Like, we don't have to do any of this, sit in a cell and pretend we're test subjects, and then I bust out my staff and I melt the bars. We can just go straight to the bad guy.
Great.
Okay. But under the guise that we're in a band, a traveling band, that was brilliant.
I just like it. It
And
doesn't.
we were running out of money, and we saw a flyer, and we thought we could make some like quick money to support our music career.
Quick money makes quick music.
Right.
Yeah.
Our band is Snakes on a Brainstem.
Snakes on a brain. Let me write that down.
All right, you follow this person down the hallway. We cut back to Sam and Rex, and you've just been led into the mess hall. It's kind of small. There's just a couple communal tables. There are 3 people sitting at the tables. Sorry, 2 people sitting at the tables. One of them is a woman. She is wearing a white lab coat. Her badge, Rex, you recognize as being somebody who would be part of a medical staff. That there often is an on-site hospital with trained professionals to work these out-of-the-way facilities. And the other person is the bumbling 20-year-old Goofus who you helped escort Chavanaugh to the cell. They are sitting there in front of some plates of macaroni and cheese and some cups of milk, and they are waiting for you expectantly, and they have big smiles on their face. And you are led in. Air Dobbins gestures to the table and says, please, sit. And he takes a seat at the head of the table.
I say,
Hi. Hello.
The 2 people at the table wave to you.
I'm sorry, where did you say that our friends were? You said they were somewhere in the facility?
Right. It keeps slipping my mind. And he crosses over to the wall and picks up one of the phones you saw him use in the lobby. And he dials and says, and it comes out of the intercom as he's speaking, Fesca, there seems to be some people running around the facility unsupervised. If you wouldn't mind, we'd like them in the mess hall. Thank you. And he hangs up. That should probably take care of whatever problem they're facing and get them here pretty quickly, I think. Yes.
Excellent.
He returns to the table, sits down, and starts digging into this mac and cheese.
I
Bryn
turn
and
to
Tag- Sorry. Go ahead, Rex, before we cut.
Oh, I was just gonna turn to the squeamish looking 20-something and say, hi.
I didn't think of a voice.
Make him French.
Oh yeah, what's his name?
Hi.
Hi, I'm Rex. Who are you?
I'm Norris. I meant Mort. I'm Mort. That's Norris. And he gets a little embarrassed. And Norris, the woman, says, I'm Norris.
So sorry, you're both
I'm
Norris?
I'm Mort. And she's Norris. I'm Norris. I'm Norris. I'm Mort. And we cut
It's
to
a
Bryn and
pleasure to
Tag,
meet you, Mort.
who hear over the intercom this voice say, "There seems to be some people running around the facility," and the person who's been responds to the name Fesker, which is said, stops and turns around, hands still in the air, and says, "I think they're talking about you. Your presence is being requested in the mess hall."
No.
They want a little music while they eat. I understand that.
That sounds very fun and festive.
I suppose we can.
Wesker, forgive me. You pulled a gun on us. Yet somehow, at the end of that conflict in which we got the upper hand, we are still following you. So I'm gonna exert the little control I feel I have left and say, "Give us a goddamn minute, okay?" Bryn, I'm really freaking out about this thing. Can you just get it out?
As soon as you start to talk about it again, you're able to communicate any kind of physical sensations you're having. You can describe it in detail, but you feel unable to express fear or paint it in a negative light.
What does it feel like?
It feels great. It is a snake in my brainstem, and that is awesome. I love having that. It feels like I'm losing control over my autonomy, my ability to make my own decisions, my ability to control my emotions, and while, again, it feels sweet, I want it out.
I mean, I can try to cut it out, but that sounds scary.
I am okay with that.
Tag, you're going to choose any skill you'd like to resist the next temptation I'm going to give to you, and you're going to tell me why. You get the urge to stop her at all costs from removing something very important to you from your body. But you can use any skill you'd like to roll against the sensation.
It seems like this is a piece of psychic persuasion happening to me, so I'm going to call that weird.
Okay.
I'm feeling good about this roll. Stay out of this, chat. This one's on me, no matter what happens. Okay? Okay. It wasn't the, 13 I wanted. It is a mixed success.
Okay. You will be able to stop yourself from going to extreme lengths. You will be able to remain in control of your body, but for whatever reason, you will not be able to allow Bryn to remove this from your body.
Okay. All right, Bryn. I'm ready. Take it.
Okay. I mean, I once removed a pucker fly out of a friend's leg. This can't be that much different.
I don't imagine.
I mean, it wasn't next to his brain, but that's okay. Let's do it. Do I have a tool? What am I going to use? I'm trying not to use magic in front of this. I look over and I'm like, can you turn around?
She's actually not standing there anymore.
Oh, good. So
And all the time that you guys have been talking to each other and doing this stuff and not really looking at her, she had been a bit ahead of you for safety. When you turn around, she just isn't there anymore.
Okay. Okay. I look around and I find a little piece of tubing, and I'm like, here, you might want to bite down.
Yeah. Yeah, just got some rubble.
You might want to bite down on this. It might hurt.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. And then I'm just gonna use laser, I guess, to make
Here's
a
what
small.
Before you have to make a decision, you go around to the back of Tag's neck where he's been explaining the sensation is moving to, and when you get back there, you can actually see a little black tentacle that has worked its way through his skin and is kind of wriggling around, almost looking for a way to circumvent the spine and get up to the back of his head, as though it is through his outside of his back.
Is this the same thing that I cut the tentacle piece off in the ice?
It shares some similarities to that, but that thing was octopus tentacles. This is like a little wriggling thing.
Okay.
I'm gonna just go ahead and mute this for the next few minutes.
Okay.
We'll
So
continue. You can come back in.
I'm just going to try to head it off from the direction it's going and make an incision kind of in front of it so that hopefully it'll go towards that and I can reach my fingers in and pull it out.
Okay. As you reach towards me to make the incision, I just spit the piece of rubble right at you.
What was that for? I'm trying to help you.
I don't know. I really want you to help me. I really want you to take this out. I turn back around again.
Bryn, you're gonna roll a plus weird. I believe this is the third spell you're casting.
Uh-huh.
So you're at a straight roll.
This is all considered the same encounter?
This is, yeah. So, just like mechanically speaking, your entrance to get back with the party would be an encounter,
okay. And
and then were you to get into a fight, combat would then like supersede that and start a new ticker.
Okay.
I'm gonna be trying to like figure it out because I don't want you guys to get stuck in loops where you just keep losing points. But this, I think, is in line with what you wanted, Bryn, which is where things might start to get messy the more you try to fuck with magic.
Yep.
But I don't want this to carry into combat because I don't want you to be handicapped during combat.
Right.
So it's just one of those things where like your entrance is an encounter, combat will be an encounter. After the combat, you will start over. It's kind of just like a mental through line.
Okay.
That's how I'm seeing it.
We get it.
All right. We'll just hold still.
Okay.
It'll be over in like 2 seconds. 7.
Okay, cool. So you are able to do exactly what you want to do. It just gets a little messy, so Tag takes 1 harm in the process. But you are able to explain to us what exactly you're doing with this laser on the back of his neck.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. and I pinch his arm so that he can focus on that pain. And then as he's like, ow, I'm like, zzz, and I do like a little incision in his neck, like 1 inch long. And I see the head starting to move towards it. And I'm like, it's nothing. It's not a big deal. You're not going to paralyze him. It'll be fine.
As soon as you make the incision, the arm that you're pinching me with, I just turn around and karate chop your lasering hand.
What?
What?
And that is what actually causes some pain as the beam then like kind of like scratches down your back.
Ow!
You're making this hard on yourself. Stop it.
I cannot do anything other than what I am doing.
Think
And then I
about
just turn and I
something
start
really
running the opposite
distracting.
And then you run?
I'm running away, yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
hell no.
Tag takes off running. Do you
I'm
follow?
chasing him.
Okay, you take off, and the two of you are now running through the hallways of this facility. We cut back to Rex and Sam. You are in the dining hall, and everybody is eating.
I'm still standing. There's no way I'm breaking bread with this guy. Not one. There's nothing on this big, beautiful blue marble that is going to get me sharing macaroni and cheese with this person.
He's like halfway through his dinner, and he's like, I respect that. We're just going to eat, and then afterwards we can do whatever you like. I imagine Fesca is looking for your friends.
Right.
Yeah, I feel it shouldn't be taking this long to find our friends.
You did see this facility from the outside, right?
Yes, it's quite massive, but my understanding is that any company facility will have the adequate resources within it to correctly identify where people are at any given moment. So if you could just tell us where our friends are, we can go there ourselves.
A funny story, that mutinies that I spoke of earlier, well, the casualties from the exit were quite large, so actually, besides us 3, Fesca is the only other person in this facility, so I'm sure she's doing her damnedest to find your friends, but it could take a while. I'll make another announcement. And he walks over to the phone and he picks it up. And Tag and Bryn, you hear. Yeah, so Fesca, actually, people are getting rather impatient, and I'm very uncomfortable. And this is broadcast throughout the entire facility, including the room that you're in. And so if you could just hurry up with them and return them here to the mess hall. Their friends are waiting for them. They just want to make sure that everyone is okay, I guess. Also, actually, that's all I have to say. I don't know why I said also, so I'm just going to hang up. He hangs up.
All right. While everyone is eating dinner, I'm like, I'm just going to step out into the hall for a minute to get some air.
Sure. You step out into the hallway, and the door, and 2 seconds goes by, and that woman who is sitting at the table follows you out into the hallway. Rex, you see her cross to follow Sam out. She doesn't say anything. She's just looking at you.
Oh, are you here to chaperone me? Is that what's happening?
I suppose that would be the word I would also use, unless you are cleared to see certain places in this facility. We're not allowed to let anyone wander unsupervised.
All right, I walk back in, and I go over to Rex. I'm like, "Excuse me, executive, you have, top ranking here, right? Is there any way that I can get clearance to just have a moment of privacy out in the hall without somebody in my face? Is that something that?"
I turn to everyone there and I say, this man has my implicit trust. Let him have a moment alone.
Okay. You're going to roll manipulate someone. It betrays how stuff normally works, which is why you're getting a little bit of pushback. Because normally you couldn't pull a dude off the street and be like, he can walk wherever he wants in this dangerous facility. But you are an executive.
All right. Oh, I don't think I'm very charming, so this could be interesting.
I beg to disagree.
Oh, God.
Just to be completely clear, you realize that I am going to give you whatever you want as long as you don't fail these rolls. You could just have the fucking world on a silver platter. But what was your result? 2! I knew what I was going to do for partial success. I was going to let Sam out in the hall.
Don't love this, Jesse.
Air Dobbins leans across the... Where are you?
I'm still sitting at the table, I think.
You're sitting at the table? Okay. He leans across the table and places a hand on your wrist. It is not threatening at all, but it is very condescending. And he says, I'm sorry, I don't know how to ask this. Have you recently been promoted to executive status?
Condescending.
You do realize that while your clearance does give you a lot of power, company regulations will always supersede the desires of the individual.
Okay, all right. She didn't mean me step out by myself. She meant she wanted to step outside with me for a moment by ourselves. She wasn't asking for your permission. She was just letting you know what's about to happen.
Hey, man, if that's what she meant, then by all means.
And I slowly pick his hand off of my wrist and I say, I apologize if my phrasing was unclear, but I can assure you, if you touch me again, you will lose this hand.
His hand is a little clammy, and he says, with all due respect, I doubt it. and gestures towards the door.
Oh, damn. Oh, damn.
Woo. All right, yeah, we go step outside in the hallway.
Okay.
You're in the hall. Nobody's
Great.
out there with you.
Okay, great. So, Jesse, Sam did have a level up that we have been sort of sleeping on because he keeps turning back into Puck, and it just never feels right to level up Sam while
Right.
Puck is around.
Yeah,
So,
take it, baby. Take it, baby.
So we're going to be taking Hacker with a dragon tattoo. So it allows. So I've kind of given up on Sam doing anything physically well, pretty much. So he's going full investigation, and basically, I would like to gain access to the surveillance tapes of what happened during that massacre, because all of these dudes are acting super weird, and I would like to try to figure out if there's any record of what happened to all those people who went out there, or some sort of insurgency that took place, because everybody's behaving strangely enough that it seems like there would be having some real record of what happened would be useful. So
Sure.
he had that panel where he was able to activate the red lights and seal all the doors and stuff like that. So I just like to use that terminal to try to hack in.
Sure. You won't be able to use that terminal, but there won't be any problem for you to get to a place where you can do this.
Okay,
because with your previous visit, you've seen enough of this facility, and Rex, knowing how many of these modular facilities are constructed, they've got like slight deviations to design, but for the most part, they're just kind of churned out in factories.
Okay.
You will be able to get to, and Rex would know that in order to get that information, you would need to be in like the security control station, and you guys will be able to get there. It will just require you to leave this place and go to it. So if that's what you want to do.
Before he does anything, I want to grab him by his shirt and pull him close. And I pull out my little clicker that disrupts communications. And I'm like, listen, they may not have any contact with the outside world right now, but I can guarantee you that everything that is happening right now is being recorded and will be reviewed later. So if you're going to do anything, you have to make sure that it looks like it never happened.
Easy.
Cool.
Click.
So you guys are able to, you get lost a couple times, but you are able to make your way towards what would be kind of a central facility. It's on the same floor as this. It seems like much of this facility is dedicated to keeping it working. So a lot of the space here is reserved for machines that do different things to power different experiments, or keep the air going, or keep the water going. And so you're able to just get to what would be the security control room. It is locked down, but a wave of Rex's executive security, or executive card, gets her in the door. And you guys are now in what is an empty, completely empty, but still, just like the rest of the facility, working and undamaged security control room. And there are any number of terminals that you would be able to get into, Sam, in order to do this move. Is a
Great.
roll required?
A roll is required, and it works that based off of the level of success, it allows me options of what I can do. How it's like the 3-to-1 ratio or whatever.
Cool.
No.
Honestly, it was funny to me last week. It is quickly losing its charm, I'll tell you.
You do got 7 luck.
I want that win.
I'm gonna go ahead and use a luck.
Sure.
Like this.
I'm going to say, just because we've never broached the subject, because of their fates being entwined, Puck and Sam will be sharing a luck pool available to either of them, but it will be 7 total.
Oh wow. Okay.
But you guys haven't had to use that much luck. I'm just not giving you 14. You get a full 7.
No, I use a Puck's luck for sure.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So you get to ask me questions or something?
Yeah. So the first thing I do is all right. So Okay, so basically I can only do two things.
Okay.
The first thing I'll do is leave no trace,
Sure.
which is one of the options. So there will be no record that I've done anything in the system. And the second thing I'm going to try to do is gain access to any surveillance footage in the during the time of this massacre, or that could illuminate anything that is started to be when this place started getting weird, basically.
Sure. With Burning a Luck, you're going to just get special sauce on it. So it's like cashing in a golden ticket, you know, so there's no reason to take anything away because you only get 7 of these. So what you'll be able to do is kind of have Rex's pick of how to erase anything you've done in the facility up until this point. So if you want to get rid of your appearance here, you're able to. If you just want to cloud this little endeavor, you're able to. And you will also be able to fuck with the security cameras moving forward if you'd like. So do you want your presence, basically you just have to realize, like, do you want your presence at this facility to be completely erased or just this hack?
That's I suppose there's no point in me deleting my presence here currently because I will appear on the cameras after this. But what I will do is, do the basic stuff of eliminating the footage of Rex and I coming to the security. No. I'll just change what it is we're doing here, and I'll make some mundane personnel changes that are, something that makes it look like I was never involved. Whatever it entails to make it look like
it happens.
No
you're able to fuck with these computers in a way that makes it appear the way you want it to.
Yeah.
And the second thing is you want access to the security footage.
Yeah.
Okay. You will be able to find everything that you need. It is going to take a little bit of time. So it's going to give me an opportunity to do something because you're going out on a limb here, just leaving a place after being told that it's not a great idea to let civilians walk around. However, you start to pull up the security footage. Before we get to what's on it, we're going to cut back to Tag and Bryn, who are sprinting down the hallways. And I believe Bryn is chasing Tag.
Tag, you're being a baby. Stop it.
I stop. I turn around and walk up to her.
Ow.
Sorry about that. I just am so excited to have a snake in my brain. I don't know what to do with my body.
Oh, so maybe it's sort of controlling you? Is that what's happening?
I do feel like I am making physical impulses that I would not otherwise make.
Well, let's tie you up. I look for rope. Or something to strap them down. Gurney, I don't care.
Yeah, it's one of these things where, like, the semantics of what she's saying matter. She's just talking about tying you up. She's not saying why, so you'd have no impulse to stop her.
Yeah, let's do it.
You got rope in Rex's pack, so you have rope if you want it.
Pretend we're at the rodeo. So I'm going to tie up his legs, and I'm going to tie his hands behind him. I'm going to be like, all right, now I don't want you moving, so you just have to get down on the ground, okay? And I use my bag with my summoner's robe as a pillow. I'm like, here, put your head on this. Just your forehead.
When he puts his head down on the ground, you can see that the creature is now working its way into the incision that you made. And Tag, you are going to roll plus tough.
5.
5?
Yep.
Okay. You are now, it's going to be a slow burn, but you are feeling yourself come under the influence of this thing. There doesn't seem to be any information being conveyed to you as a current objective, but there is a sense of preservation of it over preservation of you.
And I can feel this happening?
Pardon?
I can feel this happening?
Yeah, it's like your vision is starting to cloud, and when it clears back up, it's hooked in.
Hey, Bryn,
Yeah.
I just want to tell you how important it is for me to keep this snake in my brain. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I understand. I'm getting that it needs a brain, so we will find a brain for it, okay?
Sounds
I won't
great.
kill it. We'll keep it alive. Take it home
In
as a
my
pet.
brain.
Maybe not your brain, but a brain.
I will do everything I can do to keep this snake in my brain. I just want you to know how important it is to me to maintain a brain with a snake. This snake.
Okay. I'm going to reach in the bag and find the Dramamine salad. And I'm going to say, open the hatch. And I'm going to shove a bunch of it in his mouth and hope it knocks him out enough for me to do this.
You don't feel nauseous anymore, Tag, and you start to get a little drowsy.
Cool. Any chance it's gonna heal me a little? Because I've been slowly ticking up the harm.
I don't think it's gonna heal you.
A Dramamine salad. If that's not part of it. Okay, cool. Got it.
All right. I'm going to attempt to... Oh, I'm going to look in the med kit to see if there's any tweezers.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to use tweezers and not my fingers.
Okay. This is going to be a tough check.
On who?
You.
On me? Okay.
I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. This thing's in deep.
Okay. Oh, all right.
Hey, Bryn,
Hold on.
I know you're looking out for me, and I just want to say again how desperate I am to keep this in my brain. I don't at all want anything bad to happen to you. So if you need to knock me the F out, I give you my blessing, as long as you keep the snake in my brain afterwards.
Oh. Okay. I'm gonna knock him out.
Okay, what is your current harm at, Tag?
Oh yeah, what is your harm at?
3.
Okay, so...
I'm sorry, I do get a little confused about if harm is ticking up or down. I've taken 3 hits.
Sure. I don't know how to answer your question without it being confusing, but I have the information I need. You are 1 away from being unstable.
Okay.
Yeah. So it won't take very much to knock him out at all, especially because he is drowsy from the Dramamine salad. You are still going to roll kick some ass.
Is that plus tough?
Plus tough.
It's a 5.
You go to grab Tag's head in order to give him a little knock on the noggin, and he reels back and headbutts you in reverse.
Hashtag Bryn, how are we all still alive? Also, Mark doesn't know what shibari is, so I feel like this will be educational perhaps.
Oh god. Thanks, Mark.
You take 1 harm as he smashes his head into yours and breaks your nose and it starts bleeding. And then you smash his head down into the floor, dealing 1 harm to him, making him unstable and putting him unconscious.
I'm really sorry about you.
This is terrible. All right. I just keep wiping my nose, and it keeps dripping into the place I need to go, and it's annoying. Really annoying. I can't see what I'm doing.
You're bleeding into my open wound?
I have a bloody nose, apparently. Those don't just stop.
Are you going to tweeze this thing out?
Yeah, I'm tweezing it out.
Okay, roll plus tough.
Oh, I think Mark gave me a +1, so... Oh, I don't need it, though. That's an 8.
Cool, yeah. You are able to remove it. In doing so, Tag will take 1 more harm, because what you see happen is it has, in fact, latched onto his nervous system kind of control back here. You can't tell exactly what it's going after, but it is trying to embed its head into his brain. And so when you pull it out, there is just some light damage that happens. It doesn't look like it is to his brain necessarily, but he definitely takes 1 harm. And you now have this thing wriggling around in the tweezers in front of you. It is probably 6 inches long, very thin. It looks like a non-microscopic version of a jet black tapeworm.
Oh, God.
And it is fighting. It doesn't have anything. It has no appendages, so it is wriggling, trying to get free, but you are in complete control of it.
Okay. I would like to. Shit.
No,
Do you
Tag?
want to?
like it.
You want to eat it?
No, I don't want to eat it. That's disgusting.
She
No.
cooks it first, and then she eats it.
I'm gonna put it on the ground and I'm gonna step on its head.
Okay, you kill it.
I kill it.
It just flattens out. And what comes out of it is a familiar black ichor that you have seen on every planet that you've been to so far. It is unmistakably the juiciest part of the malice, and it comes out of this creature.
I look at Tag. He doesn't look so good.
You're able to slap him awake. He doesn't look so good because he's had a very hard day. But Tag, all of those sensations that you were feeling earlier are completely gone.
I'm sorry I had to knock you out, but you did headbutt me.
No, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
You just saved my butt. Oh my God, Bryn, it was the weirdest thing. All I cared about was keeping it safe. And I couldn't say anything bad about it. It just had control of me.
Well, it's okay. And I hold up in his face. I'm like, look, I killed it.
Oh, okay, thank you. Thank you. I mean,
Do you want to keep it as a prize? I don't know. You sort of birthed it out your neck. Do you want it?
Well, I'll put it in some sort of science vessel.
Yeah, you actually
Okay.
found a water flask outside the facility earlier that you'll be able to put it in.
I'm going to mark it.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know where anybody is. Do you think we should just maybe get to the mess hall?
Yeah, if you want to try your hand at
Healing you?
yeah, please.
All right, I have to roll for that. And I'm now at a -1, so.
You are. And there are some interesting effects on your heal spell.
Okay.
There's nothing around in the
You
lab.
have a +1 from chat, Lisa.
I do. Oh.
Lisa, what is your current harm at?
My harm is at 3.
Tag, what is yours at?
5.
Total? Okay.
I've taken
Lisa-
5 hits.
Okay. Lisa,
We're in a research lab. There's nothing around that we can use that will keep us from relying on magic.
not in this hallway, but you might be able to find a place. I don't see why not.
And we could try to find a lab or a doctor's room. I don't know.
That's your call. I do trust you if you want to go for it. I feel not great, but I feel all right. I don't want to put you in a weird position where you feel like you might, I know that we've asked you to do a lot already. I don't want to push our luck.
You're not unstable. He's not unstable.
He is.
He is unstable. I mean, he looks pretty bad. I feel like I need to
Go
do
for it.
something.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
I believe in the.
Oh, with a -1, it's an 8.
Cool. You get to either heal him 2 or stabilize him. I believe healing him 2 will bring him up to 3 harm, which will stabilize him anyways. If you had failed, you would have transferred all of his harm to yourself, which would have killed you.
I didn't know that. You didn't tell me the stakes.
On a 1 to 6, transfer all harm to the caster and stabilize the target. Transferred harm does not apply the unstable tag to the caster, which in this case wouldn't have mattered because you would have been dead.
Oh man. Would have been
Never
about
tell me
it.
the odds.
Yeah, I'm great at healing Bryn, so I would have been able to just bring her right back.
But those are the instances in which you would have been able to spend a luck point. which is why when you start to rely on luck, it goes away really fast, and then all of a sudden you run out. Okay, so tag your shield 2, and you are stabilized. You feel much better. Where would you like to go?
Well, do we want to go to the mess hall? Do we even know where the mess hall is? Is there signs?
There will be enough signage to get you guys to it.
All right, Bryn, let's think about this for just a second. The company has asked us to come down here.
Yeah.
Something has gone wrong on this place. You know, based on what I saw from Fresca, she's got one of those in her brain too. That smile that we were both making, that's not a natural smile.
Oh.
Now, I don't know what this thing wants, but I don't think it's anything good.
Do you want me to take it out of Fresca's head?
Oh, I think, well, ultimately, yes. I think that would be to her benefit and probably ours.
Well,
But
I'm
what
just thinking
I
that
think,
we don't want a bunch of people that are controlled around us, so as many people as we can break that, the better.
Fresca?
Fresca!
Fresca!
There is no response.
We named a song after you. Where is she?
Fresca, we named a song after ya. We just want to pull a snake out of your brain.
There is no response. She seems to not be here anymore.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. Do we just go? Okay, we'll go to the mess hall.
Yeah, let's find our friends.
You guys take off, and it's a bit of a maze in here, but the signs do start to get you feeling like you're moving in the right direction. Sam, Rex, we are back in the security room, and Sam has now accessed the footage that you need. As he pulls it up and looks to you to inform you of this, you do hear somebody approaching behind you. The door is open. You will be able to close it, and lock it down from the inside because this is the security control room. But when you turn to look, you see that bumbling boy and the woman whom you know as Norris and Mort heading down the hallway. They are both carrying void blasters. They do not look to be like they're mean mugging anybody. They're just walking towards the security control room.
All right, I will go ahead and lock down the door.
It is locked down. They approach, and Norris starts waving her card in front of the reader, and it keeps recognizing it and then informing them that the room is under security lockdown. You know, Rex, that your executive card would allow them to get in, as would Air Dobbins. But he is not in the hallway.
All right, so we've got a time constraint.
Okay, so you pull up the footage, and you start to cut through what begins to be a montage that you are scrubbing through. The event happens as you have seen it happen on the Balloon Planet and heard it described on the Fire Planet. There is a blue light which rushes through the facility. It seems to be coming from underwater. You're piecing this together through multiple perspectives of security cameras. Some of them outside the facility, some of them inside, some of them deep underwater in a place that you do not recognize. Sam, you do. That place has white holding cells and magical barriers and a different kind of laboratory down there. But you see that the explosion comes from underwater. It does not seem to be coming from this facility, but it does seem to be coming from nearby. So whatever it was, they didn't do it. Just like on the other planets, it seemed to have happened at the timestamp that would have put it exactly when the other ones did. You then see, over the course of several weeks, actually, life resume to a normal pace. They are checking communications and getting nowhere. They are not getting any shipments, but it's just like Air Dobbins said. The facility seems to be rather self-sufficient, and all of these scientists continue their work. But what you piece together, though you find it hard to get the right context in all cases, is that some of the employees start to act differently, and the percentage of those employees grows. They don't seem to be sleeping. They just stand in the corners of their rooms with the lights off and their eyes open overnight. And then in the morning, they resume their duties as normal. They all start smiling very large. And the one constant that you see is that employees seem to be drinking from a certain water source and then providing that water after they start acting strange to other employees. What you do see is that there was no mutiny. Slowly, over the course of time, everyone in this facility started smiling and not sleeping anymore. And then one by one, every 4 to 5 hours, they would report to the roof and then just jump into the water. And then you don't see what happens after that. And at that point, you do see that Norris and Mort are communicating through a phone elsewhere.
All right. Well, Rex, I think we know we can't trust the people who are here. So, that keeps us on the same page. I'm going to go ahead and erase everything that just happened in this room and go ahead and make it look like you looked all this stuff up because you have access to this. Yeah? That work for you?
Great.
You erase the cameras and change all the logins to be Rex's. It's easy. All you have to do is swipe her card to get the information and copy and paste it. So you've covered your tracks.
Cool. And then I'll
You
do
now
one.
see Air Dobbins walking down the hallway towards the door.
All right. I'm like, Rex, go ahead and have a seat. I'm going to go over by the wall.
Hashtag Sam, let's get this NPC named and pray that the Draugr, because let's face it, they're hideously mutated monsters lurking under the waves now, don't kill everyone.
Yay! That was a +1 to Sam and to Tag.
Excellent. Did they
That's
get
Mark.
the NPC naming goal? Is that what I just heard?
Mm-hmm.
They did?
Oh! Yes. Yes.
Lisa, if it's okay with you, there is a character you told me about.
Yeah.
We had a name picked out. I would much prefer to use the chat's name.
Sure.
They will be a researcher from this facility with a tie to Bryn's past. And I will allow the people way smarter than me to facilitate that character getting named. They can be any... I will allow... I don't care. You guys figure it out. You're smart. Okay, so
Thank you, Mark.
that's fucking dope. So
Really?
thank you.
Really touching. Thank you.
Yeah, holy crap.
Thanks,
You
Mark.
guys are
Thanks,
really
everybody.
Plus, you're giving Tag +1s, and you're giving me character names, which I hate to do. So thank you. All right. So you see Air Dobbins walking down the hallway. Rex, you've just been told to take a seat, and Sam will be sitting or standing against the wall. Is there anything you would like to do before he enters, or to prevent him from entering? You will have the opportunity to both make a move.
I feel like for once Rex is going to try and bluff her way out of it rather than fight her way out. So I think I'll override the security lockdown and maybe make the door open automatically and say, hello.
Cool. That will work. Sam, is there anything you want to do before Air Dobbins steps in the room? Any preparation or move?
Try to locate our friends on the cameras that are just still up and running regular. See if I can locate where they are.
Yeah.
Smart.
Actually, you cut to a little bit back in time, and you see Bryn crouched over an unconscious Tag, ripping something out of the back of his neck. And then Air Dobbins walks in the room, and you are forced to turn away from the console without seeing anything else. And he says, are you finding everything Winter Soldier. Are you finding everything you're looking for, Rex?
Of course. I hope you understand that we had to conduct some of our review of this facility without your presence, and that in fact, what part of the concern of the company was that something had gone awry at this facility, and that we needed to investigate it further without your oversight.
I understand completely. Is there anything else I can
I
help
thought
you
you
with?
might. Where are your medical facilities located?
The more touchy laboratories and medical facilities are located in the deep water facility.
If someone were injured, say, where would they need to go?
Anything serious would be handled down there. We do have a first aid station up here, but it was depleted for the most part. We have not gotten any shipments in since the event 2 months ago, so even minor injuries require aspirin, bandages, antiseptic. You understand?
Of course. Well, it seems, and believe me, I will be researching this extensively to see how my friends were injured when they entered this facility. It will be in my report, and I believe it will reflect poorly on your organization. But it appears that our friends have been injured, and we didn't need to tend to them immediately.
I had no idea, and you heard those very thoughtful and casual announcements I made over the loudspeaker. I in no way instructed anyone to harm anyone. So I would love to help them. Yes, absolutely. We can take them to the hospital right now.
And I get on the intercom and I say, Bryn, tag.
You guys hear this?
If you're near an intercom, please respond.
You are? So
Yeah.
I think Rex is just broadcasting this throughout the facility. It would be on the same like apartment buzzer, and you would be able to just approach one of these stations and answer her hail. But
I hit the button. Yes, we're here. Where are you?
We're in the security offices.
Ooh,
It seemed we can see you on the security camera. It looked like you guys were a bit injured.
Oh yeah, Tag had a snake wormy thing in his brain, but I pulled it out. We saved it so you could research it. And
I'm
it was
imagining
controlling
that
it.
this is all happening like in one of these, so nobody in the room is hearing what Bryn is saying.
Okay, good.
It could be the other way if you'd like. I just didn't want to like take away your secrecy without giving you a chance.
What feels fair to people? Because I do feel like we had established that these. I guess we hadn't established whether or not people on these intercoms responding to my loud broadcast would be private or not.
You know what? Jesse sucks. He's sucked all night. So if he's going to give you a moment.
So take the win.
It's a secret. Bryn tells you this. Nobody else hears her say it.
Okay. And I freeze momentarily, and the smile of normalcy that I'm maintaining briefly looks like the big, broad smiles that everyone else has been having. But I'm just like,
Dobbins returns it.
all right, well, let's get that treated right away. Why don't you meet us at the wherever Jesse you just said is the best place for medical injuries to get treated?
A central bank of elevators which will take us down to the deep sea lab. You will need one of our security cards to get into them. We will meet you at the elevators. They are referred to as deep sea elevator on the sign. So if you follow that, you can't get lost.
Who is the guy with the funny accent that keeps broadcasting over everything?
Yeah, what's with the French guy?
He's just European. Yeah, I think unless there's anything else you want to do in this room, we can get the party together at the elevators.
Great.
Cool. Norris volunteers to come with. She is the chief medical officer of the facility, and she just follows along behind. Air Dobbins leads the way, and you guys make your trip to the deep sea elevators. There's a lot of signs in the hallway with arrows, and underneath them there's this big text that says deep sea elevators. So nobody gets lost. Nobody. And you all arrive at the deep sea elevators, and they are this huge bank, and you can tell that they actually move sideways through the tubes you saw from outside. and then go down. And Air Dobbins goes to the middle tube and pushes a button, and Norris grabs his... Oh, shit. That was Fresca. I was going to make a joke. Fuck it. He pushes a button, and it says that there's a problem with the elevator. So he goes to the left tube and summons an elevator.
He's a summoner?
At that moment,
You thought we'd let you get away with a missed joke? I was right in there to deliver.
at this point, Tag and Bryn come around the corner and see you guys. Bryn has a broken nose. It has stopped bleeding, but her entire chin and the front of her tunic are covered in blood. Tag looks better than he would have earlier, but he seems to be beaten up as well, and he has quite a bit of blood on him as well.
I feel like Bryn's also missing like a chunk just out of her leg.
She's limping, and there's a huge ball of bandages on there because Tag did it twice. And so it's just like a huge ball of bandages that are on her ankle.
I feel like a real adventure.
And Dolphin says, "Good Lord, they are injured."
And I say, well, you look like one, sweetie.
I don't hate it.
The elevator arrives, and Air Dobbin says, "We have medical facilities downstairs. They are run for the most part by these robots, which you might be familiar with, but Norris will be handling all of the important stuff." And so he motions for you to go into the elevator.
Okay.
And the elevator music comes on as we're in the elevator. We're just all standing there, kind of like...
Did one of
Does
them,
anybody need any? Does anybody want to do anything before they get on the elevator?
is it just us getting on the elevator, or is it also them getting on the elevator?
As of right now, Air Dobbins is just gesturing for you to get on the elevator, and Norris steps in.
Okay. All right. I mean, I don't have any telepathic communication, so I got nothing really.
I telepathically talk to Tag, and I'm like, are we keeping up the band act? What happens if Fresca comes back?
Honestly, I don't know. Either way, we're going to have to confront the reality that we attacked her.
Well, she aimed first.
Oh, no, I don't disagree with... we're justified. I'll be honest, the band was... That's what I like to call a panic move. There wasn't a lot of thought behind it.
I thought it was pretty inventive. Maybe someday we can start a band.
I would love that. I would truly love to just knock these planets out and transition to music.
I can play the drums, so...
Can you?
Yeah.
I could learn stuff. I don't have anything off the top of my head.
I've got a lute back home.
Yeah.
Okay. Lute
Okay.
and drums.
Great. So we've agreed that we're gonna let the band go for now, but we are gonna pin the idea because we like it and we want to pursue it later.
Yes.
Love it.
Okay.
And you guys follow Norris onto the elevator. The doors close behind you. Air Dobbins is standing outside of them. He pushes a button that allows him to speak through an intercom into the elevator, and he says, "Norris, your sacrifice is noted. You will be rewarded."
Yeah.
And then the elevator starts to descend.
Yeah.
It slides sideways and then enters into a tube in which you can see out of the windows the infinite ocean of the water planet surrounding you. And then it keeps going down. It does cross the water line and lights kick on internally and it starts to go down, 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 down. It goes down for a very long time, and it does go at a pace in which you can hear a lot of different systems kick on in line to decompress and stabilize the inside of this thing. And unlike Tag's thought, this facility was not floating. It is actually anchored to the sea floor. And so this elevator trip takes about, I don't know, it starts to pick up speed and you can start to hear magic kick in. It takes about 20 minutes. But the second half, you are traveling very quickly. And as more magic kicks in, you kind of actually get the feeling that you're experiencing kind of some of the tech that's used in the Void Jumper that allows you to like punch through barriers and drop out of the thing. And then it slows down and you reach the sea floor. You can actually hear it conk go on. Through the we'll hear what
Hash
awesome shit
misjokes.
this is.
Herr Dobbins must have rolled a 2.
Oh, that was Wags. He gave $40, so that's
Yeah.
that's 2 points for Jesse.
Yeah.
Oh!
Total.
Gratitude, Wags.
Wags, if you're here next week, and I hope you are, do not let me forget to use those boons to screw these guys, okay? Hit us up in chat and they'll alert me. But I'm making a note just in case. So, the elevator hits the sea floor.
You got 3 now?
No. That was 2 total.
2 total.
Yeah.
And you can see through the door Fresca. And she is standing there. And she is in what looks to be a mech suit of sorts. It is glowing purple. And if you guys have seen underwater, that really dope kind of suit that they wear, it's that compact. But it looks like it's fashioned after Puck's body and charged with the same energy that would have been coming off of Puck.
Whoa.
Is holding in one hand a very large drill, and in the other, a much larger version of the non-copyrighted saber that uses laser energy to make a blade, and it has been turned on. And she just is smiling bigger than you've ever seen. You hear a large clunk coming from behind you, and you turn around to see that very, very, very big, very powerful, probably magically amplified lights have just clunk, 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 clunk around the sea floor to illuminate it. And it stretches out pretty far in front of you, and you just get a murky sense of what's out there. There doesn't seem to be any life or vegetation. And then coming up over what looks to be the lip of what could be a crevice out at about the extent of what you can see, you see those very large black tentacles start to float up into the water and move and move. And the ones that are severed from your guys' little fight earlier are pumping clouds of black ichor into the water and creating this moving ink display. And when you turn around, Fresca's looking right at you, and she says, "I can't wait to hear your band play." Blackout.
Oh no!
Dude, I love this. That is right up my alley.
Wow.
We're all gonna die.
Yeah, pretty much. Super far under the ocean.
Yeah, but it's gonna be so spooky.
Oh, man.
This is my aesthetic.
Rough.
Just that moment where she's in the suit with the smile, and then the. I love it, man. You're doing this. You're just giving me an early birthday present.
That was very well described. I got chills listening to that description.
Oof.
We finished up a little early. What we're going to do is Lisa and I actually have spent the week practicing a couple songs for you. So we're just going to do a 19-minute little kind of unplugged sesh, if you will.
Oh yeah, a little carry on my wayward son length.
Right.
Do it.
That's not true. What are we doing with this time?
Oh, We asked you guys to submit some questions that you wanted us to answer, and so every week, and so we have a question that each of us will answer that you guys have put in the Discord. So I will ask you all.
Are we each getting different questions, or?
No, you all get the same question.
Oh, okay, cool.
I'm just gonna go start with Trip. That's my dog. I'm gonna start with Trip. If you could play any other character in our show, who would it be and why?
Does it have to be like any of us major characters, or can it literally be anyone?
Could be
I feel like
anybody.
it could be anybody.
Anybody.
Then 100% Snacks.
Oh, yeah, what a good one.
Yeah.
That's so good. Oh
Can we
my
just
gosh.
see the Trin Miller audition for Snacks?
Yeah, let's see it. We're making an offer in the room, you know. It's name your
I would ask you why, because that's part of the question, but I think it's pretty obvious. All the Snacks. How about you, Casey? What character would you be and why?
Well, honestly, I guess I'm gonna go with Air Dobbins, just because Jesse had me rolling so hard today. There was like a section after he's like, "I thought you said this guy was cool." Like, I was just like lost my mind. It's like I'm trying to like run this train of like being so irate and so justified in like wanting this vengeance, and Jesse's just dropping like comedy bombs left and right. And there was like a section there of about, I honestly think it was about 90 seconds where I just couldn't stop laughing, and I was like breaking character so bad I felt like Jimmy Fallon or something like that. So I guess I don't know if
you going back and forth like literally for hours.
I don't know if I guess maybe I don't know if I want to be Air Dobbins, but I'd watch his YouTube channel for sure.
I agree. It's pretty funny. How about you, Jesse? Who would you, of the 8 billion characters you've played, what are the other ones?
Of all the characters in this show that I would want to play in this party, I would go with Tara, I think. Because she's just Rex-like, but like the Dex build to like Rex's strength build, you know? So it would just be that fighter, but with finesse weapons, and just fuck some shit up.
That's pretty good. How about you, Connor?
I would like to play Puck's crew of workers. all 8 of them, like Zip. Who is it? Zip, Hank,
Mika,
Roberto, Squeegee, Tubbs, Montgomery, Old Sal, and Yipster. I just kind of like, and I always, because there's so many of them, I haven't done this yet, but I have always wanted to like just pop in with a chorus of other voices whenever any of them are in a scene. Like Jesse does one, and I'll just be Peanut Gallery in the background. So those are, I've got a real soft spot in my heart for that crew. I just, yeah, them.
They're pretty funny.
What about you, Coronado?
Duh, I'd be Shavanaugh and just be a bitch all the time. It'd be so great. And just yell at everybody and literally give 0 Fs. I'm okay with that.
She's hardcore, as they say. Super hardcore.
You could also play Shavanaugh's ghost. Do a little alternate character portrayal there.
A little green screen work.
Ooh, haunt myself. That's pretty good.
That's who you'd haunt. Out of everybody on the ship, you'd haunt yourself.
Yeah, you gotta keep it interesting.
That's good. That was a great question. I don't know who that was, but thanks for throwing that. What's it? Do you throw those in the Discord?
Discord or
Yeah.
Twitter? It looks like you guys
Or
are throwing
Twitter?
some
Oh
on
yeah, Twitter.
And there's a folder in the Discord that Trin made that's literally the questions you want to ask. So just throw us anything that you'd like to see us in the hot seat and have to answer.
I feel like that
I
was.
mean,
keep it friendly, y'all.
Yes.
Keep
Definitely.
it classy for sure.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Oh man. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. Want to thank Mark Thomason, who is here with us every week, and you guys don't see him, but he's doing all of the fancy wizardry with our tech.
Yeah, he's the man.
He is the man. He's
Also
so great.
hitting up in chat, making sure we don't fuck stuff up, letting us know what we're supposed to know. Very cool.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We had a
Aaron,
growth session this week.
we what?
Oh, sorry. You're crediting other people for their hard work, and I just said we had a gross session this week. I was just reflecting on the pork sandwich.
Did you
There's
like
a lot
that?
of body.
I love that
Right.
man. Actually. That was very gross.
I was like, who gives a fuck about a pork sandwich in an ashtray?
Yeah.
It was like a light switch.
It took
I
it,
can go
it took
from
it up a
0 to
couple.
100 real quick. Okay, so thank you to Aaron Buman for creating that amazing intro that we have that's new. The music and the graphics and everything. It's so good. And to Merk, thank you, Merk, for modding for us and for donating points to tag.
And Right,
everything
Go
else.
Short Stories. That was also her question that we asked tonight. I just double checked. That was a Merc question as well.
Merk's question, her fan art, and her stories are incredible. They're all in the Discord if you want to check them out. Thank you so much. Thank you to Zombie Orpheus for hosting us clowns and letting us play on the Twitch channel. It's so fun. Yeah, and then we've got Zoe Game Night tomorrow at 6:00 and Pacific Standard Time. And then Monday it's Masters of the Metaverse at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then we'll be back next Wednesday.
Yeah.
Before we get out of here, Trin, do you want to just take one more second to help inform us how we can fix all of the things that we want to be a part of fixing and change the things that we complain about a lot so that we can take a little agency and do some good work?
Jesse, I cannot afford facial reconstructive surgery. How many times do I have to tell you? Okay?
Well, just turn your camera off, Connor.
Look, just have that conversation with me privately. Don't shame me in front of chat.
It's
I
not
want results.
I know it's weirdly shaped. You don't think I know how weird its shape is?
It's not the shape. It's the
Okay.
topography.
Yeah, just let her tell the important stuff, okay?
Back to Trin. We'll shut up.
I mean, this is all very important stuff.
No.
But particularly, I'll just re-highlight some of the things we talked about at the top of this episode in case you missed it. We talked about two organizations. One is called powerthepolls.org. Please check it out. Please share it with your various networks. We absolutely need more poll workers for November's election, particularly people who are perhaps younger and more able-bodied than many of our amazing poll workers who in the past have often come from more elderly populations and who aren't able to be poll workers this year. It's usually a very minimal time commitment, and in many counties, it's often paid work. So get paid to help your fellow citizens exercise their constitutional rights. Not so bad. And also double check your voter registration. In many states, the deadlines for changing or just getting registered in the first place, many states, those deadlines are coming up fast. So if you need to update anything with your voter registration, or if you just need to get registered in the first place, I've been registering voters, and I've been registering people who, I registered a 70-year-old woman the other day who was like, I've literally never voted before, but I am going to for this election. It is that important. So go to vote.org to check on your registration, make sure it's all up to date, and get signed up for an absentee ballot if you can. And if you do get signed up for an absentee ballot, return it early and make sure it goes in the envelope and that you put your signature on the outside of that absentee ballot envelope where it asks for it. Otherwise, your ballot may not count. And I'll be back next week with even more of this information.
Yeah. Thanks, Trin.
Yay!
Thank
so
you,
good.
Trin.
Also, we have a name for the NPC.
What is it?
It's Gweneg R. Murrer.
Okay, I'm gonna put it in. We're gonna use it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think that might have been also. We should just give Merc creator credit in the show at this point. I think that
Yeah.
might have been her contribution. In which case, if we're mispronouncing it, give us a little phonetic guidance in the chat.
Yeah. Yes.
Cool.
Awesome sauce.
That was the poll result.
Yeah.
That was wrong. I don't know.
It's the poll results. Yep.
Just adding it into my doc so we
Maybe
know.
I erroneously credited Merc on that one. I don't know.
Whoever it was, thank you.
Cool. Take us home. Take us out of here.
Who?
We
You.
got snakes in the
I
brain.
said on my things. Bye. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next Wednesday.
Out of my brain. I don't
Okay.
like how they make me smile. Too many snakes in my old brain. I got a little brain and a little snake. The snake's crawling up my spinal cord. Ooh, vertebra. Ooh, vertebra. Wiggle around and break it to the skull. Hey.
All right.